escape, just turn the key. Hit the road and keep driving until no land to see. Let's run away, be free. Escape, just turn the key. Hit the road and keep driving until no land to see. Let's run away, be free. Escape, just turn the key. Run away and escape with me. Escape with me. Run away and escape with me. With me. With me. Run away and escape with me. With me. With me. Run away and escape with me.
Ways that never break. We run away. A sweet escape. Share our days by the sea. Night and day. Night and day. Night and day. We never fall. Nothing can hold us down. Spirit of God. We run away. Night and day. Night and day. Night and day.
You can follow the movement at www.siliconguard.org.
Night and day. Sometimes I think about the good days we had, but there were bad days too. And I know love is like the phases of the moon. And I know you would say I gave up way too soon.
Good morning. Good morning. Karibuni sana. It's nice to see your smiling faces from here. My name is Jocelyn Sigwa and I will be your host. Again, this is the second day of Sahara Sparks 2021. We are proud to be here with UNFPA, but before we begin, and before I tell you all the details, tafadhali, naomba niwakaribishe chai. I understand some of us have had coffee, you've had tea, but there's some really nice snacks on the back. So let's kindly use these 10 minutes. Please have your tea, make a new friend, and do wear your smile. Karibuni sana.
Sometimes I say that I want you back, but I don't know if I do. Sometimes I think about the good days we had, but there were bad days too. And I know love is like the phases of the moon. And I know you would say I gave up way too soon. Sometimes I say that I want you back, but I don't know if I do. Sometimes I think about the good days we had, but there were bad days too. And I know love is like the phases of the moon. And I know you would say I gave up way too soon. And I know love is like the phases of the moon. And I know you would say I gave up way too soon. Want you back, good days we had.
Turn on all the lights. Don't wake me up to get lost in each other's paradise. Just follow my movement, the way that we do this. Whoa, oh, oh, coloring lines of a soul. Oh, oh, giving me somewhere to go with you. Out of this place, and we break the rules just so houses come to life. In the middle of the night, I feel my head is spinning. Oh, oh, I need you by my side. So watch this come to life. Pour out in my mind. You got me breaking through another dimension, yeah, of your body. So follow my movement, the way that we do this. So follow my movement, the way that we do this. Do this, do this, do this. So follow my movement, the way that we do this. Oh, 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 coloring lines of a soul. Oh, oh, giving me somewhere to go with you.
rainbow-colored sky. Let it pour inside our minds, wash away all that's unkind. And though I don't know where to go, I still believe we can run wild till the world ends. Catch a fantasy, see where it will lead. Upon our sleeves, open to the one world, the sun between the trees. And though we know that dawn is coming, we still believe we can go where the night is gone. Jump into a dream, see where it will lead. Cause I'm on a midnight cruise with you. Midnight cruise with you. Baby, don't stop. Baby, don't stop, no. Cause I'm on a midnight cruise with you. Baby, don't stop. Baby, don't stop, no. Cause I'm on a midnight cruise with you. Baby, don't stop. Baby, don't stop, no.
I wanna sing, I wanna dance, I wanna do it all. I'm not a ghost, but not the host of a rise and fall. I wanna be in everything and anything you are. But if it's talk, call it off, we won't go that far. And I'll be there when all our dreams have gone, holding on to home where we belong. Take away the strangers talking down. Oh, let's be loud and clear, there's no secrets here. To home where we belong. Take away the strangers talking down. Oh, let's be loud and clear, there's no secrets here. Here, 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 here. Oh, let's be loud and clear, there's no secrets here. I'm breaking my mold, you got me caught up, it's true, on you. And now I've got nothing to hide or lose, 'cause I just need to be back by your side. Stop the time in the night, I need your body on me, feel my heartbeat. Show me what to do when I'm losing it. Tell me what I shouldn't be. Your body on me, feel my heartbeat. Show me what to do. It's my obsession. Only feel my heartbeat. Baby, only feel my heartbeat. Show me what to do when I'm losing it. Tell me what I shouldn't be. We hate it, you know it's true. You got me falling into your trap, babe. What can I do? Oh, no, no, no. And now I'm about to lose my mind. It's true, 'cause I just need to be back by your side. Stop time in the night, I need your body on me, feel my heartbeat. Show me what to do when I'm losing it. Tell me what I shouldn't be. Your body on me, feel my heartbeat. Show me what to do. It's my obsession with
Must be the feeling it brings to you that makes you do what you do. I know I can't keep still, so I try to hold it within. When it comes, I start to yell. The next thing I know, I'm on the floor. Green lights start to flash.
Imetosha? I hope we had a good time. Naona tayari a lot of networking is going on, which is good. Karibuni sana. This is Sahara Sparks 2021. We are all gathered here today for a workshop on innovation for development. We are very honored to have you. Tunashukuru sana. It's an avenue with different partners and stakeholders. We have beneficiaries of Amua Accelerator with us. We have different private organizations. We have health institutions. We have different health sectors focused on sexual reproductive health. We are very happy that you are with us. It is day 2 of Sahara Sparks 2021 with the theme Future Reimagined. Again, we acknowledge the presence of our audience that is joining us virtually. We hear you, we love you, and we appreciate you. We are here at Hayati Regency on this Tuesday morning. I'm hoping that you're feeling the energy in the room. We have a series of discussions and panel discussions lined up for you. Kwayo, please set your notebooks and your pen ready. We hope that you'll have a great time. Now, after this introduction, I would love the studio team to play the video for the theme of the Future Reimagined. Please enjoy. Sinyangushe. It's now a song, tutaiona sana mpaka tumalize the day, but the truth is, technology is taking over and we kind of have to embrace that. How are we zooming in with the health challenges that are already happening, especially zooming on sexual reproductive health? So that's what the discussion will reflect around today. And once again, we're happy that you're here with us today. So I would love to take this moment and invite someone who has been part of Amua Accelerator as the project manager. Amua Accelerator is a program that is implemented by Sahara Ventures in partnership with UNFPA for almost 5 years now. So guys, I'm gonna need your help with the energy to put your hands together for Mr. Adam Bialu as he's walking on the stage.
No worry, I've not used it to provide a keynote speech, so I want. Good morning, everyone. Na nashukuruni sana kwa wote kutokea hapa asubuhi ya leo. Ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. Natambua uwepo wa wote mliokuwepo hapa. Natamani nimtaje mmoja mmoja, lakini leo tumebahatika kuwa na a cross section of stakeholders kwenye maeneo ya afya ya uzazi na ujinsia, specifically hasa huku tunakozungumzie kwenye masuala ya ubunifu kwenye sekta hii. Kwa ninafurahi kuwa na nyinyi nyote, nategemea itakuwa siku ambayo very insightful, lakini kabla sijasema lolote naomba nimkaribishe kwenu Madam Jacqueline Mahon ambaye yeye ni country representative wa UNFPA, atupatie welcoming remarks. Karibu sana Madam Jacqueline.
Thank you so much, Adam, and thank you for your leadership over these many years. Much, much appreciated from our side. I'll also be a little bit relaxed as well. I'll say itifaki imesigatiwa, all protocol observed. And habari zenu, habari za asubuhi. I know there's people online, so please keep the energy wherever you are. And I'm really delighted to be here, I have to say. I feel that there's so much energy here. There's some young, dynamic entrepreneurs, young leaders of today and tomorrow. So you're here, and I do hope you take the opportunity to network and exchange. And I'm really looking forward to the discussions today. So ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of UNFPA, again, I'm so happy to be here at this important event. And I'd like to thank you all who've managed to join the event physically and virtually. Karibuni sana. You know, I've been following this online. I've been following yesterday's event online. I've been looking at the social media. I'm a little bit of a Twitter addict. So I was like looking at all the tweets that were coming out, and they were really super impressive. You did some, really interesting discussions yesterday. And I really love the theme, the future reimagined. And really, it explores how developing economies can adopt innovation, entrepreneurship, the digital transformation to accelerate socioeconomic development and help navigate and recover from the COVID-19 pandemic that we're experiencing today. I mean, I think at the beginning, when you enter this room, you would have seen some of the stats that were there. I mean, some of the stats, that hit me were the amount of young entrepreneurs in Africa. It's just so dynamic. And, coming together today is really, I think that energy is so important so that we can move forward and seek out every opportunity. As you are aware, since the emergence of the COVID-19 pandemic in late 2019, and they were really the world has experienced unprecedented challenges from the pandemic, and I really love including disrupting what was considered the norm, and really, ushering in a new way of doing things, pushing us to the edge, pushing us to reimagine, and not only we use this term, think outside the box, but just forget about the box. Just get yourselves out there and see what is possible. Accelerate socioeconomic development. The so-called new normal is driving tremendous change in our socioeconomic and political issues. It has accelerated the digital transformation and the adoption of technology in almost all facets of human life. At the same time, it has also highlighted the vast inequality. And we see that in the context of the COVID-19 vaccine, its availability on the continent of Africa. We also see that in access to ICT within countries and across countries. So the inequalities are there, and it's also very important that we tackle them. So the theme, the theme Reimagine the Future, it's very much in line with the UNFPA corporate strategy. We have as an organization a new corporate strategy from 2022 to 2025, and that is focused on 3 transformative results. And I know Felicita in her presentation will speak to those. And natutumia Kiswahili vile vile, mimi naweza kutumia Kiswahili lakini najua kama wote kama wanasikiliza labda wanafahamu Kiingereza tu, so mimi naomba kutumia Kiswahili au Kiingereza. So our 3 transformative results as an organization are ending the unmet need for family planning, 2, ending preventable maternal deaths, and ending gender-based violence and harmful practices, including female genital mutilation, child early and forced marriage. These transformative results, and we recognize that as an organization, they can't be achieved with the current rate of progress. We're not going to get to Malengo ya Maendeleo Endelevu by Elfu Mbili Thelathini Bila without innovation, without pushing the boundaries. And we know that the COVID-19 has really impacted on the gains that we have made globally, and we really, and it's putting at risk all of those developments. And so that's why we have to really leverage innovation. So to accelerate progress, and in areas where challenges are most pressing, UNFPA is adopting new approaches. In the past, when we did innovation, it was very much, we would call for proposals and they were one-offs, but we recognize that in terms of moving forward, innovation has to be part of everything that we do. It is an engine to deliver on global development aspirations. It's not an add-on. It has to be part and parcel of all the work that we do. And I'm really interested to listen to you and your experiences and what your advice and guidance to us. And we have, we are continuously striving to deliver the best responses to the challenges at hand, remaining adaptable. We're a big organization, but to be able to move to the 2030 agenda, we have to be adaptable. We have to be extremely agile, and we have to be responsive to a rapidly changing and more complex world. And we are young people are at the heart of what we do. And we cannot do our work without the leadership of young people. And as young people, you are leaders. People say leaders of tomorrow, but I firmly believe that you are leaders of today. You're out there and you're pushing the boundaries, you're experimenting, you're exchanging, and you're engaging. So you are leaders of today. And we cannot do our work without having you as our partners in moving the sexual and reproductive health and rights agenda forward. So today you're going to share experiences and lessons learned, and you're going to hear from Felicity's going to do an overview, and I see that you have these great, I haven't read the reports, but I would see these great reports from Sahara Ventures on the experience of the More Accelerator, and I'm really interested. As soon as I get back to the office, I'm going to read them. I'm really super excited. And you'll also provide an opportunity to learn from the different stakeholders implementing these different innovations in Tanzania, particularly on SRH, and also maybe on more broader healthcare. So let me talk a little bit about the Innovation Accelerator. It aims to tackle the pressing sexual and reproductive health challenges that young people across the country confront. It promotes social entrepreneurship among this group through mentorship, seed funding, training, and skills development. And I'd really like to hear from you. How do we take it to the next step? How do we take it to sustainability? There are many good, and that's what we are experiencing corporately, but also in the context of Tanzania. How do we sustain? How do we scale? Felicita, I'm not going to go into details because Felicita will touch on that. I just feel that the lessons and experiences from those initiatives, I'm looking at Thai Tanzania, we really want to hear from you in terms of how we move forward, how we really shape that agenda, and how we, really ensure that young adolescents and young people have universal access to sexual and reproductive health and rights, have, rights and choices in terms of being able to make informed decisions about their bodies. Along with the government and other development partners, we will do our best to deliver a world where every pregnancy is wanted, every childbirth is safe, and every young person's potential is fulfilled. So let me conclude with a quote from Maya Angelou. She's one of my favorite writers. She said, "Do the best you can until you know better. Then when you know better, do better." So as we constantly move forward, let's reach for the sky and let's reach for the stars. And indeed, let's reimagine a future. The future is today. So very much looking forward to the conversation. Asante sana kwa kunisikiliza. Shukrani.
Thank you for the energy, for the power words. Please, a huge round of applause from... I just want to highlight this. Alisema, think out the box. And she did it like this. Fikiri kama hakuna boxi kabisa. So we appreciate UNFPA has been working throughout, and innovation has been the core of everything that they have been doing. I just want to take a moment and with the help of the studio team to share with you the video highlighting ICPD and the history of UNFPA, cementing on the powerful presentation. Please.
The International Conference on Population and Development, ICPD, for the first time enshrined individuals' rights to make their
Technical glitch, it's okay. UNFPA has
25 years ago, a global revolution started in Cairo. The International Conference on Population and Development, ICPD, for the first time enshrined individuals' rights to make their own reproductive choices freely and responsibly. World leaders recognize that universal access to sexual and reproductive health and family planning is a precondition for women's empowerment and human-centered development. The world committed to reducing maternal deaths, to prevent HIV, and to end gender-based violence and harmful practices like child marriage and female genital mutilation. Back in 1994, it was nothing short of a revolution. Since the adoption of the ICPD Program of Action, Africa has seen a lot of progress. Skilled birth attendance increased from 40 to 60%, and the risk for women to die in pregnancy or childbirth reduced by half. More women than ever have access to family planning. In East and Southern Africa, new HIV infections have declined by 30% and AIDS-related deaths by 42%. But the promise of the ICPD remains yet to be fulfilled for millions on the continent. Many across the continent don't have access to sexual and reproductive health services, and 1 in 3 girls are still being married before age 18. Africa is home to some of the world's worst natural disasters and conflict, causing maternal deaths to rise and increasing women's vulnerability to gender-based violence. In some conflicts, sexual violence is even used as a weapon of war. More than a third of the world's forcibly displaced people live in Africa. The Nairobi Summit will help us rally a broad coalition of stakeholders, protect the gains made, and advance the ICPD agenda to ensure that no one is left behind. UNFPA Africa is committed to work with governments, the African Union, partners, and donors to fulfill the promise of the ICPD and to deliver a world where every pregnancy is wanted, every childbirth is safe, and every young person's potential is fulfilled.
One is left behind. A huge round of applause for UNFPA, please. We are running out of time, but please remember to share your experience socially with the hashtag Future Reimagined. As you can see it on the front, we're again very happy to have you. It's an honor to have representatives from UNCDF. We have different partners from TAI, Jakaya Mrisho Foundation. It's good, it's really good that you're here. And as we go ahead, we know that we're going to have mouthful experience. Like what Ms. Jacqueline said, hearing your experience and your insights could be very helpful in moving ahead within the sector. Again, this is innovation and technology in health, zooming on sexual reproductive health. Ladies and gentlemen, I would love to call our next speaker on stage, representing the government from COSTECH, Mr. Athmani Mgumia. Let's please put our hands together for him. Karibu sana.
Yeah, dear participants, ladies and gentlemen, good morning of you. Am we heard very well? Do you hear me? Yes. Okay. Okay. Good morning. Yeah, as I have been introduced, my name is Athman Bumia, working from COSTECH. So I'm representing COSTECH. And on behalf of the COSTECH, actually, I'm very much honored to have this opportunity today to meet with you, but more specifically to open this very important workshop on innovation development in the future imagination. Commission of Science and Technology in the Sahara, actually, since their initial event here in Tanzania, we've been together, we've been partners, and we take this opportunity to, actually, we are very grateful and to congratulate you to maintain this spirit since we have started. I think it's more than, I don't know how many years now, 3, 4? Yeah, 5 years now. Yeah. So I think you have made a very great achievement on this one, especially to maintain this event annually. So for us, we are actually very much grateful, and we've been using this opportunity to try to promote the innovators within our country in different ways, but participating and also learn from each other. Now, my task, which I've been given, is to open this workshop, but before I open it, I want to say something. Mainly on the theme today. We are talking about the theme of innovation development, but also the future imagining. This topic actually, it has reminded me to think the current trend, especially on the innovation push globally. If we look on the innovation trend globally, and particularly we are talking about now health sector, we have 3 paradigms which are going together. We have a linear mode of innovation, which actually is dominant in the source of knowledge in research institution, the R&Ds, whereby the success of the innovation is through the robustness of the research which is done and how it is transformed to the product. But at the same time, we have now the system mode of innovation, which I think the AMOA is actually measuring it, whereby we are talking about the good governance of different organizations, actors, regulatories, and the players to make sure that the innovation process goes through smoothly and they come to to be successful. But now we are going very fast to another new paradigm, which is very important, which is on the social economic paradigm, which is mainly we are considering about system transformation or system transition. What does it mean? It means that now with the global challenges, not only on the digitization, but also on the climate change and the population aging, we are now experiencing a different kind of the technological systems. So the success of the innovation in being that the future policy system, it's to be on the, not only on the governance, on managing the actors, but also on the how can we transform or how can we transform a different technical and the technical systems from one another to another one. For example, when you are talking about health sector, you can see currently we have an analog system of providing services, but very quickly now we are coming up with the AI, the technology which is more on digitalization. Now, how are you going to move from the analog to digital? This is a challenge which we need to think, how are we going to do it and how is it going to be done to make sure that the new technologies which are coming in AI, in the artificial insemination and artificial intelligence, they are going now to fit into the new system. So this is the future challenge which now we need to see how can the policy environment can accommodate these things in society that can be successful. So this is to me, I can see it is a challenge whereby now with this program for AMOA, I think we need to use this program as a basis for building evidence, which can help us now on how are we going to develop and come up with a new policy system which can support this the transformation from the analog system of providing medicine or treating health to the new ones. And this is one part, but also, as you know, that health is very much affected by the environment, by the aging. So all these factors which are global challenges, they are all need to be looked at and be integrated in our technologies to make sure that we are going to succeed in helping the society. So I think on the other side, as I've said, we have now the source of knowledge, because we're not talking about innovation, we're talking about the process, but the process, it is the 30 point. And the 30 point is the source of knowledge. And currently we have R&D institutions, we have universities, they are coming with a lot of new technologies and the knowledges which are quite very important for our technologies. But the issue is how now we're going to connect now to the R&D institution, to the source of knowledge, so that you can benefit from that knowledge. Because as you know that currently the universities, the R&D, the way the system they are operating, they are quite more linear. They are not actually demand driven. They are more demand oriented. So we need now to see how are we going to connect with them and the benefit from that one. So with their own current system of the system within, they are working within R&D institution. So I think this is two sides which you think we need to think, and I think this program of AMUA is a good opportunity to learn and to build evidences so that you can see how we can integrate with this different ecosystem for the benefit of our technologies. So with these few remarks and the opinion in this on the agenda, I'd like to take the opportunity to say that now the workshop is officially opened, and I wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
We can do better than that. Thank you very much, Mr. Athman, for the brilliant opening remarks. We acknowledge and we appreciate your presence today. You remember, guys, nilisema wimbo wa taifa tunaukumbuka? Studio, go with me, please. Future Reimagined. The Sahara Sparks season is this entire week, and we had the opening yesterday. It was very insightful, and the key takeaway was that the future begins now. Future reimagined now. And as Ms. Mahron said, it's all in our hands, and we could think bigger and continue to see ways of how we can do better. So once again, we appreciate that you're here. I keep saying that. I just hope you know that I really mean it. So without further ado, I would love to call on stage mzungumzaji anayefuatia. Again, she's from UNFPA, a program specialist, health system lead of SRH component, focal point on innovations. So she has also been tunamuita mama wa AMUA Accelerator kwa upande wa UNFPA. Amekuwa ni mlezi for over the 5 years that we've been working together. Please help me, go with me as we're walking her to the stage. A huge round of applause for Felista Bwana. Karibu sana.
Thank you so much. Actually, let me take out my mask for a while so that I can actually breathe. All right. As been introduced, I'm Felista Bwana, and I don't want to repeat what Jocelyn had just said, but I will join my colleagues who have just said that I'm also very much honored to be with everyone. There are some new faces, there are some faces I know, but we are really grateful that you have joined us for this event. So I'll go straight to the topic I'm supposed to talk about, innovation at UNFPA. We used not to do innovation before, but now we are in it. So how do we approach innovation at UNFPA? It is the same as how others do innovation with the 9 principles, which I don't want to read them, but at least you can, I don't know if you can be able to see clearly, but most of the people in the digital world and innovation. You all know the 9 principles, but at least one of them is design with the users, which we have always been doing. And I think Jacqueline said clearly, we do with the young people because they have been the target of our innovation. And for us, innovation is a means to an end. Why? Because we have to inclusively co-create and scale up data-driven. So we use data to design our innovation, sustainable and open solutions that can be accelerated to achieve our transformative results. I will show you the transformative results, but Jacqueline has already said that we've got 3 transformative results, very difficult, very challenging to achieve. But with innovation, with your support, we understand we'll be able to achieve. So why do we need to innovate as UNFPA? We have some reasons which has really made us to see that it is high time we use innovation. This is just a complex, it's a diagram with the fact and the reality, but it's a global picture. But I'll take you through some few statistics as well on Tanzania, but there's a lot of challenges facing the world. So we understand the death, particularly contributed to childbirth, has been halved in the past decade, but still we have people who have, the deaths are still there, are high. And then the sexual reproductive health has been still the leading cause of death and disability. And in the context of COVID-19, actually, sexual reproductive health has been more challenged than I think other areas in health. Because in other countries, even here in Tanzania, we have the data, I think, published. Adam was telling me one day, I think 100 girls, they got pregnancy during the first 3 months of COVID-19 when the schools were closed in this country. And imagine now, we're not locked down, but still we have that. And of course, it was just captured in the papers, but we actually don't know the magnitude of the gender-based violence, but also the pregnancy that occurred during the COVID-19. But these data are even before COVID, just in 2018, 2019. So we still have millions of people who need family planning, but they cannot access for different reasons. And we have people who need humanitarian support. So there's a lot of things that put us as an organization to think that how can we move? Because the challenges are very complex, but also there are some opportunities probably. For Tanzania, just that we still also sailing the same boat, that the population is really going very fast, is high. We are almost 60 million, of course, with 76% being the rural areas. But I think more important, what I put in blue, is the age dependence ratio, which is 85.9, which meaning that we have, as a country, this country is a youthful nation. There's more young people in this country than adult population. But what do we do for young people? So for UNFPA, in Kiswahili, we have that tunapiga jiwe moja, ndege wawili kwa jiwe moja, yeah? We have 2 birds with 1 stone. One is addressing the challenges of sexual reproductive health. The second is harnessing the demographic dividend for this youthful population. Otherwise, you're going to create a problem for the country if you don't think about this youth group. But I think the other one thing which I also want to point out, I think the poverty is still, a big percent of 28% is a lot for people who live in below the basic need of poverty. When it comes to the sexual reproductive health indicators, we still have high maternal death. More women are dying in a year. If you put the 556 per live birth, is like you're talking of 11,000 women dying each year. I don't think it's a very good statistics. If you think about your mother, your sister, whoever who dies because of preventable reasons, we can prevent maternal mortality in any way. And on top of that, there is more young people who are getting pregnancy. I think the data say 1 in 4, I think, in an easy way, that they are pregnant, so they have the first baby. So, and we see that with the high maternal mortality, which is a bit stagnating, can also be contributed by the childbirth, early childbirth, the teenage pregnancy, because it's like 20% of the maternal mortality are contributed by adolescents, childbirth. The prevalence of HIV, you could see that 4.7 is the general and overall, but women are more infected by HIV comparing to men. So now this is also a challenging area that it has a gender kind of lens in a way, but also adolescent girls, they are more infected by HIV comparing to their counterparts. The gender-based violence, 40% of people, of women particularly, still experiencing physical violence, and 17% sexual violence. This is not a good picture for the country. So for UNFPA, after all these things, after all this history, after all this data, and the understanding that SRH is a very complex and challenging area or issue, then we said we have to find an innovative way of doing things. Why? Because the traditional way of doing things, it is not going to help us achieve the transformative results. It is not going to help the world achieve the transformative results, but also achieve the 2030 agenda. It is not possible because the principle of 2030 agenda is leaving no one behind. So if we have all the data, young people cannot access it. I mean, sexually reproductive health services. Young people probably are the majority of the population. Young people, they're more infected by HIV than the adults. Many issues, I can name them, meaning that there's certain group of people are left behind. So we don't need to leave behind if we really want to achieve the 2030 agenda. And you know that innovative approaches are needed to turn these challenges into socio-economic ventures that can make a positive impact. And we hope that will happen. So probably I will look a bit on our direction in terms of the innovations. So in our strategic plan, the current strategic plan, which is ending this year, we have 4 areas which we put like an emphasis for us to be able to innovate. One is, to promote innovation, because it is really not something which we used to. So promote innovation by creating the innovative solutions. How do we create the innovative solution? So that is one area, but also with the partners, as I say, develop with the users, we are able to identify the bottlenecks, but also scale up innovation that have proven to be successful. And that's why today in this workshop, apart from us sharing the experience of Amua Accelerator with the Sahara, we open also ideas and experience and learning from other people who are implementing innovations that have proven success in the area of sexual reproductive health, gender-based violence. So partnership is key to us to be able to really reach where we want to go, but also as an organization, as UN organization particularly, how do we nurture the culture of innovation? So this was also an area we said, no, we have to train our staff, train everyone, and some countries have been champions, including our country office, and we thank our rep, Jacqueline. I think that's why she's here. She has been really champion and supporter of innovation. That's why it has been able to move. Now, this is 5 years. We are proudly saying that we have done a lot. We have done a lot, and I think we'll hear the testimony from some of our partners, but it is also because of her support. So probably within that, I don't want to repeat this. This is just kind of what I have just said in the previous slide, but it's more a bit details with some of the the additional things what we have been doing to be able to achieve each one of the specific elements of the innovation focus. Then how do we make it happen? How have we been doing to make it happen? One, we did the ecosystem mapping in Tanzania, and at that particular time, our country didn't have many stakeholders that are really working, particularly in this area. I think Adam knows, we really struggled almost, I think, over 6 months trying to find who can we partner to be able to implement, because we had already designed the Innovation Accelerator at the UNFPA, mini regional office in South Africa. But then we are now, we try to work at the country level, but who is the partner to partner with? So we did the ecosystem mapping. And then because we wanted to know who is in the innovation space, then we did donor mapping to know actually which donor have lines of funding dedicated for innovation, because many people kind of not very important, but probably important, but sometimes they need to articulate and see if it can work. Because sometimes you think about innovation is something you have no answer. When you are thinking, you have no answers, but as you go on, you get answers. But the third thing we did is to map the bottlenecks. So when we did with the government and some of the stakeholders, we were able to identify challenges in our mandate areas that require innovation. And that was clearly said during the challenge definition days, but consultation with the government and stakeholders. So since since 2017, actually, we have been able to come with the 3 challenges. And one was the, no, sorry. No, the intention of the bottleneck is to look into the challenges that link to our transformative results, sorry. And these 3 transformative results have been said by Jacqueline. So there are 3, and this is our aspiration to be able to reach by 2030. You could see that I have also a saying from Albert Einstein. Then, now I go back to what I've just said, that as we are doing the consultation and the challenge definition, we came up in different, in the implementation of different accelerator we have run in the country, because we are now in the 3rd cohort, if I can say it that way. So the first one, when we started, it was immediately after the demographic health survey finding of the increase in teenage pregnancy. So the teenage pregnancy was an issue which everyone said, no, we need to do something. UNFPA, you have to do something. Then we said, now, what would be the best solution for us to support the government of the country in the to ensure that we can reduce the teenage pregnancy. So when we started the AMUA, and then young people are the one who gave us this name, AMUA, because we tried to say what would be our name. We can brand this project. Then AMUA, and AMUA, it has the abbreviation, the length form which Accelerated Initiative, Modern Technology, Universal Access to SRH for adolescent and young people. So this was launched in 2017, and then we have now the 3rd cohort that has been implemented. Of course, the 3rd one is ongoing. We haven't finished, but we have 2 cohorts that I think the representative from the startups from these 2 cohorts, they were here. So you will hear from them the experience and what they have done, as well as the impact to the community, particularly the young people themselves. I think this should be my last one. So since I didn't want to go to the details, because Adam is going to talk more of the experience now of running the Innovation Accelerator, and then we hear also from the startups. Otherwise, from our side and from my side, this is just the highlight and the brief of how we have moved, how was our journey of innovation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You've really summarized, thinking it's your baby. Thank you very much for the brilliant presentation from Madam Felista, highlighting on the innovations from UNFPA and the Innovation Accelerator. So as she said earlier, Mr. Adam Bialu, who has been the project manager of AMOA Accelerator from Sahara, will come and present about the lessons and the experience of implementing AMOA Accelerator. Drum rolls, please. Makofi tafadhali as we walk Adam to the stage. Adam, this is your call.
My work will be simple baada ya mazungumzo mazuri ya dada Felista. Yeye ametuchukua kwa nini tuko hapa kwa kifupi chake kabisa. Na nitaomba niongee zaidi kwa Kiswahili. Ukiona naenda kwenye kisandawe mnirudishe Kiswahili ili walau watu wengi zaidi wanisikie. Lakini sababu kubwa ya kwa nini tumeitana hapa ni kwa ajili ya kushare kilichotokea miaka miwili mitatu iliyopita, mitano tunaweza kusema. Tunaweza kusema ilikuwa katika mtindo wa pilot, lakini sasa hivi tumeona matokeo makubwa sana yanatokea. Lakini tunaamini kabisa other development actors nao wamekuwa wakifanya wakiwa wanafanya some bit of innovation kwenye area zao, na tulitamani kusikia ili to learn pamoja. Kwa mimi nitakachofanya ni kushare the experience ya what we have been doing and what has just happened for the last 5 years that we have been working with the UNFPA. As Madam Felista amesema, sisi na UNFPA tulianza mwaka 2017 kufanya kazi. Na mwaka huo ulitokea mambo makubwa kidogo. Kwa sababu sisi ni innovators in nature, wenzetu ni development expert. Sasa pale lugha zilikuwa kazi kukutana. Sie tukizungumza mambo ya rapid prototyping, wao wanazungumza policy and guidelines za health sector. Kwa hiyo moja ya sababu natamani ni share na nyinyi ni vile jinsi tunavyoweza kuunganisha innovation concepts hizi na the concepts za development na principles za development delivery. Haikuwa kazi rahisi, lakini baadaye tuliweza kuongea lugha moja. Kwa hiyo naweza kusema tuna massive experience ambayo tunaweza kusema tutashare kwa wale wote wanaotaka kuadopt hizi model kama hii ama tofauti na hizi, ili zisaidie njia isiwe rough kama tulivyoipitia sisi. Kwa hiyo AMOA Accelerator kama alivyoisema Madam Felista, sitaki kuizungumza kwa undani wake maana yake nini, kwa sababu ameizungumza vizuri sana. Watu wa technical nadhani hii bado haifanyi kazi kama mtu. Okay. Asante. Basi vizuri. Kwa hiyo so far sisi tumerun okay. So far tumerun activity hizi okay. Trying to get acquainted with technology. No? Yeah. Asante sana. BBC kanisaidia. Okay. That's fine. It doesn't work anyway. Utanisaidia Esa kwenda nayo ili tusipoteze muda. Lakini kwa kifupi kabisa, Madam Felista akasema maana ya AMOA Accelerator. Na mimi sitaki kuirudia sana. Tumefanya kazi hii na ili kuja na hili jina tulienda kupretest na user. Majority target kubwa ya AMOA Accelerator ilikuwa kuangalia namna gani tunaweza tukafanya na vijana, kwa sababu ndio target yetu kubwa. Kwa hiyo tulifanya kazi na vijana sana kwenye kupretest. Kuanzia kwenye logo, kwenye jina lenyewe kama linafanyana na vijana, na kulikuwa na maajabu mengi sana. Mwanzo tulikuwa tunadhani sisi tunaelewa, tukadesign logo yetu, wao wakasema hapana, hiyo ni ya kwenu, tukiiona hiyo inaonekana kama Freemason. ile ya kukaa na mstari na alama ya male and female, ndo tulizozileta kwa pamoja, lakini tulivyoenda kuzipretest kule, wao wakasema hii tunaona kama Freemason hivi. Kwa hiyo nao vijana wana aina yao. Kwa hiyo wakati tuna design hizi innovation projects, tuanze kabisa na nini tunawapelekea specifically kwenye hizo alama au miradi tunavyoidesign na nini. Ni muhimu sana. Unaweza ukachukulia kirahisi sana, ukashangaa jibu linatoka tofauti na ulivyowahi kulifanya. Lakini so far kama Madam Felisa amesema, tumeshafanya cohort 3. Lakini tunafanya very soon, kuanzia November hii tunaanza na cohort ya 4. Na hizi cohorts zilivyokuwa zilikuwa zinakuja na thematic area ambayo tulikuwa tunatamani kuifanyia kazi. Ya kwanza ilikuwa around teenage pregnancy, ya pili ikawa kwenye masuala ya people with disability, hii ya tatu tulikuwa tuna focus kwenye SRH. Ukiziangalia hizi ni moja ya changamoto nyingi kwenye sekta ya SRH. Maeneo ambayo yamekuwa yana changamoto zaidi. Na niwaambieni ya 4 inakuja ina focus sana wapi? Tunafanya special focus on young girl. Na tutaifanya Zanzibar. Hata mimi niko excited. You know the complexity of Zanzibar kwenye culture. Kwa hiyo tunatamani kuona nini kitatokea. Wakati tunarani kwa mara ya kwanza cohort ya kwanza, Madam Felisa alisema, "So unadhani kutakuwa kuna idea gani itakuja?" Nikamwambia hata mimi sijui. Kwa uzuri wa innovation, hata ujui kinakuja nini, ila kitakachokuja kitakuwa exciting kuliko ulivyokuwa unadhani. And I feel this is the beauty of it, kwa sababu kinaenda kuinform watu wanataka kusikia nini. So mimi kazi yangu ya pili, ninatamani niwaambieni tulikuwa tunafanya nini kama mchakato mzima, nini kimekuwa kikifanyika, na kutoka humo ndio kuna learning zingi tumejifunza ambazo tunatamani kushare na wadau. So kwa kifupi sana, huu ndo imekuwa kama methodology yetu tunavyoenda kufanya kazi. Kabla hatujafanya call for application, jambo letu la kwanza kabisa tumekuwa tukifanya challenge definition. Kwa mfano pale uliona focus yetu kwenye cohort ya kwanza tumesema ilikuwa around teenage pregnancy. Lakini teenage pregnancy ni jambo kubwa. Kwa hiyo tulitamani kusikia wadau wanasema wana challenge gani kwenye teenage pregnancy. Kwa kutoka pale wadau ndo walituambia hizi ndo zimekuwa challenge zetu. Na wali mention vitu mara nyingine ambavyo hata tukuviona. Wakati tunaona teenage, kabla hatujaona teenage pregnancy, wadau kwanza walisema hawakutaja teenage pregnancy as a challenge. Tulitaja kama maeneo 4. Nakumbuka ilikuwa menstrual hygiene, teenage pregnancy yenyewe ikaingia, HIV and STDs zikaja. Wadau wakasema forget. Mpaka sasa hivi changamoto katika hizo zote ambayo inatutesa sana ni teenage. By then nadhani ilikuwa at 27%. Yeah. Ukiangalia rekodi za statistics. Kwa wakasema hili ndio linatutesa. Na tukaenda zaidi kwenda kuwauliza wadau kuhusu, okay, kwenye teenage pregnancy kuna nini? Wao ndo wakatuambia focus kwenye hiki, kwenye hiki, kwenye hiki. Challenge definition imekuwa ni sehemu moja very important kwetu. Na kuanzia sasa hivi, kwa mfano sasa hivi tumesha define kabisa, tumetengeneza a guide to challenge definition ambayo tuko tayari kuishare katika mnaita Creative Commons. Jinsi gani urun a successful challenge definition ambayo itakubaliwa na wadau wa pande zote katika kwenye area yake. Challenge definition mara nyingine, hata nakumbuka wakati mmoja tunafanya PWD, ilimwacha mama yangu wa SRH guru mdomo wazi. Wakati tunafanya ya PWD kuna maneno yalikuja pale mpaka wenyewe wanasema kuna kesi zingine tulikuwa hatuzijui hapa. Kwa ukiwa unafanya challenge definition, kwa sababu utatumia na wadau husika, ni rahisi sana kupata matatizo sahihi ya wadau. Kwa wakati tunafanya hizi kazi, I think it's very important kushirikisha wadau wenyewe kudefine hizo challenge wanazokutana nazo. But it's also equally important to validate it. Manake sisi tunaweza tukawa tumezipata zile challenge tukasema tunadhani ni hizi 4. Je, wadau nao wanaziona hizo 4? Kwa kuna kipindi tukiwa tunaenda kuvalidate na bigger group ya different stakeholders, we have been noting that they say no, you have forgotten this one. And I'll tell for a fact, kabla hatujaanza kufanya challenge definition na huu mradi, tulifanya mradi mwingine na development actor mwingine. Na tulifanya ya kilimo, kilimo. Na sisi tulikijifungia tukatengeneza challenge zetu tukaziitisha. Wakati tumeshamaliza kufanya zile challenge, zile solution tumezipata, tulizipeka kwenye ministry. Kwanza ministry walifurahia. Lakini nilipoenda kwenye ministry walivyotuita wizarani kule walivyotuita, waliniambia something that struck me a lot. Ambia fine, mmetuletea suluhu mbalimbali. But can we tell you a secret? Huku kwenye Wizara ya Kilimo sisi, changamoto yetu ni post harvest loss. Na none of these ideas zimekuja na post harvest loss. Na haikuwa sehemu ya challenge yetu. Kwa kumbe it's very important. Pamoja na kwamba wewe utawaitisha wadau ku validate challenge. I mean kutafuta hizo challenge, ni muhimu kuzivalidate back to them. Kusema kweli hizi ni challenge, especially the government, kwa sababu sisi wote kama wadau wa kimaendeleo tunajibia matakwa, tunajibu kwenye programming za serikali au kwenye mipango ya kiserikali. Kwa hiyo ni vizuri kuwa validate wao. So ukisha toka hapo, tukishazipata zile challenge, ndio huwa tunaitisha mawazo kutoka kwa vijana mbalimbali, waje na mawazo kutoka kwenye zile challenge definition. Na mwanzo wakati tunaanza tukaziitisha tu afu tukawasikilizia kwa kutumia mainstreaming media. What we have noted, mainstream media pamoja na kwamba zinafahamika, lakini huko mikoani sio maarufu sana. Maarufu ni local media zao, especially community radio. Nakumbuka nimekwenda Mbeya, mimi huku najua naogopa kusema kwa sababu ya kibiashara, radio fulani kwamba ndio inabamba mjini. Kwa hiyo nimefika, taxi ya kwanza nimepanda, sisikii ile radio. Taxi ya pili sisikii, na mimi nimeshatoka Dar es Salaam. Lakini baadaye wakambia sisi hatusikizi, sisi hapa tunayo Bomba FM ndio tunaisikiliza, ambayo ni community radio yao. Kwa hiyo it's very important kutumia local community radio, especially kama unataka kufikisha message kwa watu mbalimbali. Na before then, kwa nini tulienda kutumia community radio? Haikuwa sehemu ya programming yetu. And it's good to mention kwamba sisi tunaporun home ride tunarun kwenye concept tunaita agile monitoring. We are allowed to do the retrospective in every activity. So our first retrospective iligundua kwamba almost 60% ya ideas zote zilizokuja zilikuwa zinatoka Dar es Salaam. Na sisi tunataka representation ya Tanzania nzima. Ni kwa sababu ya aina ya media channels tulikuwa tumezitumia. Tusingekuwa na hii process ya retrospective, si ajabu tusingefikia huko. Kwa ni muhimu ku retrospect, kuangalia nini kimefanyika, kuangalia if mnaenda sawa, then kukubali kubuild kutokea mlichojifunza going forward kwenye next activities. I understand madau wengi wana aina fulani ya monitoring ambayo imeshapangwa kuanzia mwanzo, but sometimes it doesn't work. If it will be retrospective, it's easier kubadilisha na kuhakikisha mnafunika yale mashimo ambayo yamejitokeza kwanza. Kwa hiyo hii imetusaidia, na tulivyofanya retrospective, tulivyofanya hivyo tukagundua kumbe kuna tatizo hili na tukaenda mikoani. Na ndio kutoka pale at least 35% ya ideas zilitoka Dar es Salaam na the rest up country, which to us we felt it was very representative. And pamoja na hivyo, mradi uliofuata, cohort iliyofanya, tulifanya massive community engagement. Before then, tulikuwa hatufahamiki. Kwa hiyo kuna hitaji a lot of community engagement. Sababu hizi idea walizonazo ni watu wa community, lakini walionazo zaidi ni wadau wa kimaendeleo waliopo maeneo haya. Kwa it's very important kuhakikisha kwamba wao ndio wanashiriki na wanauelewa mradi. Na mtu kaingia online na najisikia afu nikijisikia. Okay, sawa. Kwa hiyo it's very important. Lakini next stage baada ya kufanya hizo community engagement, tunafanya hackathon. Why are we doing hackathons? Wadau wengi wa kimaendeleo ambao tunatamani washiriki. Kwanza, innovation haijawahi kuumbiwa mtu. Mtu yoyote anaweza akaundergo his principle of innovation. Anachohitaji ni guidance. So unakuta mtu ana idea nzuri lakini anaogopa kujiengage, especially youth ambao wamebahatika hawajapata fursa za kukutana na infrastructure hizi za innovations, infrastructure like hubs, spaces. Mikoa ambayo haina ni kazi sana kupata idea. Mnakuta zinatoka kwenye mikoa ambayo iko well organized yenye hizo innovation hubs and spaces, hizi infrastructures. Kwa ili uhakikishe na wao unawashirikisha, wala una run hizi hackathons, you take through at least 2 days ya kuwa take through how to innovate ili mradi uje na idea kutoka kwenye idea zao hizo. So this also to feel that it's important kuhakikisha na wao tunawa bring on board ili to innovate pamoja. We have a judging and screening. I don't want to talk too much about this, but I would love to talk a bit about bootcamp. Why are we doing bootcamp as a process ya innovation yetu? Changamoto nyingi nitakuja kuziona kwa mbeleni. Moja wapo ni skills gap ya vijana wetu. Kwa hiyo ukiwaambia tu umepata idea hizi hapa, sasa nendeni mkafanye further development ya product zenu with little support ya development. Kwa sababu sisi tunatafuta sana innovative ideas ambazo ni tunasema entrepreneurship backings. To us as Sahara tunaamini kabisa kama unataka kusolve problem sustainably kwenye community, then build business around it. So we would love to see these ideas that are coming having an entrepreneurship backing at least. So taking them, sisi tungekuwa kama kutoka kwenye idea tumeshazipata, ilibidi to take through kwenye business development. Lakini tumegundua kuna more than business development need, especially even kwenye soft skills kwa vijana wetu. Unakuta hajawahi hata kusimama mbele za watu kuzungumza. A university graduate hawezi kusimama mbele za mtu. Skills set zetu kidogo bado ni changamoto. Kwa hiyo hii inatusaidia tukiwa tunafanya hizi bootcamp is a 14-day very intensive training where we provide different packages as a training including soft skills. Tuna deep dive kwenye masuala ya sexual reproductive health ambako nako ni mtihani kwa sababu wengi hawana hii knowledge. And hata ukichukua the local innovation ecosystem player, hawa innovators wetu, hawakuwa wanadhani kama sexual reproductive health ni sehemu ya kuinnovate. Ukiwasikiliza sana walikuwa wanazungumzia fintech, watazungumzia health tech kwa ujumla wake na zingine. Lakini specific sexual reproductive health kwa sababu hawana context ni kazi sana kusema wataanza kuinnovate. So one of the biggest thing ambacho na applaud UNFPA ni kuprovide an understanding ya sexual reproductive health issues kwenye local innovation ecosystem ya Tanzania throughout this program. Ambayo imefanya sasa unaanza naturally kuona without passing through our platform, people are innovating around the sector. To us, this is positive. And it needs such investment beyond kufikiria tu hapa kwetu tunachokitaka sisi. And we have seen, kwa mfano, kuna vijana wanajiita mama afya, hawakuwepo sehemu ya SRH bootcamp, lakini wao wameanza kuinvolve. Now a couple of others unaziona zinakuja wanakuletea bana sisi tuna innovation around it. Jana tulikuwa namsikia mtu amempigia simu specifically ananiambia I have an innovation around sexual reproductive health and I think we can work together. Hajapita kwenye platform yetu lakini amegundua hii ni platform ambayo inaweza kumsaidia kumtake through ku understand SRIH issues. So I feel like if we provide more platform around, especially kwenye health sector, we'll get to reimagine our future as faster as possible, like either we embrace more innovative solution kwenye different complex issues that we are passing through. So a bootcamp to support us on that. Na nitashare some numbers huko. Tulikuwa tumesikia Madam Felista aliniambia wakati tunajaribu kuangalia okay, so what are the key indicators za huu mradi kufanikiwa. Moja tukasema provision ya knowledge ya SRH. Mtaalamu akaniambia ili iwe knowledge lazima iwe comprehensive. Sio kasikia tu kama awareness. Kwa hiyo with this bootcamp, wale wote waliopita kwenye bootcamp wameondoka na comprehensive knowledge. Nakuta ni kijana tu alikuwa ni engineer wa software, lakini sasa hivi ana very comprehensive knowledge ya SRH ambayo imetusaidia sana kuongeza namba ya youth ambao wana comprehensive knowledge ya SRH. Kwa sababu sasa wanapata enough time ya go deep with the sector. Kwa hiyo hii pia as far as the sector is concerned imesaidia vijana wengi kupata a comprehensive knowledge to the sector, at least to my take. So tukishafanya hivi we go with the acceleration na ina complement further. Wachache tunawachukua wanaenda kwenye next stage ambayo ni acceleration. Hii bootcamp mara nyingi huwa inatupa prototype ya aina ya business. Lakini wakienda kwenye acceleration wanatoka na MVPs. Ambazo hizi MVPs ndio zinaenda kuwa pre-tested. Na hapa napo tuna kama 3 months za deep diving kwenye sector which is including the SRH sector itself. So wale wachache waliobahatika kufika this level, wengi walifuata further support ya mentorship kutoka industry expert mbalimbali specific including kwenye sector husika. Then at last tunatoa team 4 ambazo zinakuwa zinapata seed fund. We wished we could have further funding kuleta idea nyingi. Mara nyingine hadi unaona huruma, unaona kama wote nani wana deserve, lakini kwa sababu ya funding zilizopo tunachukua 4. Ambapo so far kwa sababu tumerun cohort mbili completely 8 teams zimepata hizi. And I'm glad to tell you that to date hizi teams zipo alive. Zipo zinazochechemea lakini majority zipo. Na this is kwa mfano Amua 1, it's now 3 years past na still hizi team bado zina survive. Na sio kwamba zina survive tu hivi, kuna zingine zime scale up. Vijana wengine walikuwa 4, sasa hizi wako 8, wamejiriana zaidi. Wengine wako 10, wengine wamepata further support following funding kutoka kwa actors wengine, kuonyesha kwamba kumbe kile tulichokifanya walau kinaanza kuleta matumaini. As I say, this to me innovation is fun. It comes with massive opportunity. Opportunity moja hapo hii nimeisema, vijana wengi sasa wanaanza kuona kwamba especially kwenye ecosystem yetu ya innovation. Madam anasema hakuona mdau kabla, lakini sasa kapo wadau sasa hizo ukiangalia kuna utitiri wa hub. Tunazo nyingi, tunaridhika, walau tunasema sasa na sisi tunazo za kutosha. Challenge kwenda kwenye hinterland especially kwenye mikoa, lakini bado tunaona zimeanza protruding some of the places. Mimi naamini funding hii imesaidia kufikirisha baadhi ya wadau kuanza kuinvest kwenye innovation. To me, this is another opportunity ambayo imejitokeza. Lakini business development. And I would love to point out some of these 6 startup ambazo zimepata. Tumejitahidi sana kutoka hapa, tumenurture a lot of innovations. Kwenye ecosystem tumekuwa tukiprovide a lot of support. Lakini Sahara provide sana knowledge management ya sector. Umeona hapa tumetoa document 2 na tumekwisha toa document zingine za namna hii za kusupport. Nimesema hapa tayari tumeperfect model yetu ya challenge definition and we are ready to share with any stakeholder ambaye anataka kufanya around this. Very soon document kwa ajili ya kushare with the rest of the idea vijana kuja na mawazo mazuri. So kwenye knowledge management the platform, thanks to you UNFPA, imesaidia sana kuongeza knowledge ya sector, especially tunapofika kwenye development sector. Would love kuona platform kama hii pia ina share hizo zingine ambazo sisi hatuna. Tuzicapture pamoja ili tuendelee kushare kwa watu wengine. Na ndio maana unaona sasa hivi kuna mazungumzo eti ya innovation. Mzee wangu hapa atanielewa Costech. Specifically tunazungumzia SRH. Thanks to wadau ambao wameona wa dedicate kwenye kusupport mazungumzo ya namna hii wakati wa tunazungumza wiki hii ya innovation. Na kuna Amua imeempower youth beyond what we were expecting. Watu wengi wanashindwa kuelewa. Tofauti na wadau wengi wa kimaendeleo wanavyojua ukishaingiza shilingi 10 zinatoka shilingi 20. Mara nyingine sisi kwenye innovation hazitoki shilingi 20, rather vinaweza vikatoka vizazi vingine ambavyo hata ukuwahi kuvitegemea. I'll give you example ya dada tulitarajia tuwe naye hapa leo. Gilda alishiriki kwenye programu yetu na walishinda maisha package. Lakini Gilda yeye hakutaka kuendelea na timu yake akajitoa. Sasa alipojitoa wenzake waliendelea na maisha package. Lakini Gilda, a lady from Manyara Rural, anasema mimi nimebaki mjini, it's thanks to that program ambayo ilinisaidia kusurvive mjini, kubaki salama na kuendelea na maisha yangu mengine. Sasa hivi Gilda is an author, ameshatoa kitabu chake cha 2 na anaendelea maisha yake. Lakini kila ukimuuliza anasema ile program ilikuwa an eye opener to me to see how I can explore my potential. To date I'm doing what I love the most. So when we are running such programs, inakuja na beyond the expectation from those areas ambazo kabisa tunaziwekeaga kama hizi ndo results areas zetu. Zinaenda ku-empower youth, which overall inarudi kwenye mandate ya wadau wengi ambao wanataka, tumesikia pale 85.9 ya dependency ratio. Tunasikia 65% ya youth wa Tanzania, ya Watanzania ni youth. Tunasikia pia kwamba kila mwaka wanatoka karibu 800,000 kwenye mavyuo vyetu. Kati ya hawa ambao wanakuwa employable nadhani ni 150,000 tu maximum. The rest wanaenda huko. So tunapokuwa na hizi platforms za namna hii, tunapokuwa tuna think innovatively, tuna support youth beyond what we are entitled to deliver. Tuna support sense of entrepreneurship. Kama wengine wanaona kumbe wenzetu waliweza kupata seed funding wakasurvive, what can I do as well na mimi? Tunaondoa ile mindset ya kwamba akikaa anasubiri kazi tu, kumbe anajua anaweza akaenda beyond that, akainnovate kitu na akaanzisha kitu chake. So I feel like embracing such, and I know I will learn from you as well, kutoka kwenye nyinyi innovation mlizozifanya, inaweza ikasaidia namna gani kusaidia kupata faida kubwa ya vijana ambao wengi wana changamoto sasa hivi za employment, lakini kwenye sekta zetu kuna changamoto nyingi ambazo tunaweza tukatumia jeshi hili kutatua changamoto zetu mbalimbali. Lakini pia ni vile ambavyo wadau wa kimaendeleo wanaanza kufikiria tofauti kwenye kuinvest au kuthink different kwenye kuangalia namna gani tunaweza tukaempower youth specifically kwa kutumia matatizo yetu tunayopata. Mimi sina mengi, lakini labda ni share kidogo what are some of the challenges ambazo tumekutana nazo. Massively skills gap, bado tuna changamoto. Na tunapofanya program kama hizi, unaona sasa tunaanza kurudi kuanzia nyuma, kuanza kusaidiana kwenye masuala ya soft skills. Tunafanyia hizo awareness mbalimbali ambao haya maneno haya tulitakiwa tuyapate huko kwenye tertiary education wanakotoka. World Bank wamesema skills mismatch hii sasa hivi ni kubwa kidogo, lakini bado na sisi ambao tunafanya nao tunaona hizo skills gap. Lakini imefika kipindi tuanze kuzungumza. Mradi watu wa Sahara kwa kushirikiana na Tumaini University wameanza kuzungumza. Nadhani leo kuna parallel session inazungumzia the future of education and future of work, how universities zinaweza tukasupport kuhakikisha tunasaidia future of work. Vijana wetu watoke na skills ambazo zitapambana na hiyo dunia inayokuja. Kwa bado tuna skills gap na inatucost kwa sababu inabidi tu prolong a little bit mradi kutokana na aina hiyo ya changamoto. Financing. Tumesema tumerani kwa miaka 5. Kulikuwa na zile financing za wale ambao tunawasupport. Lakini unakuta sasa kwa sababu tukishazichukua ile MVP tunaipeleka kufanya watu kwa proof of concept. Wanaingia mtaani sasa kuona biashara kweli inaenda, wanapata trackable records, wanaanza kupata business 2-3 mpaka wanafika kipindi anaanza kuiperfect model yake kabisa, amejua wateja wake wanataka nini na ana X number ya users ambao wanarudi. Sasa akifika hapo anatamani aongeze mzigo, aongeze biashara yake. Hizo follow-on funding kwa Tanzania bado ni mtihani, na natamani ni call upon wadau hapa tuanze kuchampion haya maeneo. Na follow-on funding ya Tanzania sio ile ya mamilioni ya Silicon Valley, 1 million and above 500k. No, as low maisha package wanatafuta $35 ili wa scale up. Ndio follow-on funds zao 25, 100, maximum 150. Tumebahatika hapa thanks to UNFPA, kuna moja ya startup yetu itakuja kusema wenyewe wamepata follow-on funding ya 50,000. Sasa ukifanya vile unaenda kufanya maajabu. Utaniambia it's a startup to watch. Baada hiyo 50,000 there will be massive change to them. So we are looking to, if at all kuna mtu anaweza kusupport around that area. Unaweza usijue una support nini, but indirectly unajikuta una support whatever area ambao unafanya delivery. Unaweza ukasema okay fine, mimi natenga fungu la follow-on funding kwenye innovation zote zinazokuja kwenye sekta yangu, labda revolving fund or whatever it is. Tupo tayari kuzungumza na kuona namna gani tunaweza tukasupport around that area, kwa sababu hii ni eneo ambao sasa wana proven model ila wanadondoka, kwa sababu sasa unakuta wanakosa hizo and it's very unfortunate. Wakati fulani sio specific kwenye hii sekta, innovation ilitoka hapa Tanzania ikafeli kwa sababu ya funding. Wenzetu majirani waliweza kuraise hela kwa sababu funding zinaenda sana kwao. Innovation imefanya vizuri kule tu kwa sababu wao wana access to follow-on funding. Kwa hiyo na one of the changamoto thanks to mheshimiwa wa serikali hapa yupo, lakini hizi innovations zingine unakuta zinahitaji sana government, mkono wa serikali. Tunafanya saizi innovation around data, ambazo unakuta nyingi sana zinajikuta zinahusiana na wadau wa serikali kutupa access ya kufanya hizo innovation, be piloting or whatever. One of the innovation kwenye data imekuja inajaribu kuangalia jinsi gani inaweza enhance IMR data, lakini hatuna access ya hizo, na bado kuna slowness ya wadau kutupa ruhusa. Lakini wao wanakuambia wana challenge, na challenge wadau wamesema kila siku mnapewa makisio, wakati tunaweza kuacha kuwa na makisio na badala yake tukawa na actual data through innovation. Na vijana wamekuja wamesema hii tunaweza tukaifanya tukasolve tatizo. So I think we need to be proactive. I've loved the comment by the COSTECH director yesterday. He said he is ready, and tuendelee kusaidiana kwenye kufanyana kueleweshaji, lakini bado kuna some slowness kwenye hiyo area upande wa serikali. I thank you. Samahani, nimekumbushwa kitu. Wakati nayasema haya maneno niliambiwa nizungumze kidogo. Nacheza video. Hizi video tumecheza ni activity mbalimbali tumekuwa tukizifanya. Amua1, a summary video ya Amua1 ambayo ilijikita kwenye masuala ya teenage pregnancy. Tutakuwa na video ambayo itachezwa inafanya summary ya mambo ya PWD. Lakini tukisema tunafanya hili zoezi linakuaje, tutacheza video ndogo ya kuonyesha our work in action, the way tunavyofanya the hackathon, one of our activity ambayo ni hackathon. So please, hii ni sababu ya kwa nini tunacheza hizi, kuangalia namna gani tumekuwa tukizifanya hizo kazi. Asanteni sana. But before I say something, naomba tu nitoe special thanks to wadau mbalimbali ambao kwa wakishirikiana na sisi. Bado tunashukuru serikali kwa namna moja, lakini tuwashukuruni UNFPA. Sisi kama wadau tunashukuru sana kwa support. Madam Jacqueline, thank you so much. Najua umekuwa pioneer wa kutupigania kuhakikisha tunapata allocations, and imesaidia sana kuhakikisha miradi yetu inaenda vizuri, na haya mnayoyaona thanks to you and your team. Asanteni sana. Our main target in this project will be teenage pregnancy.
We just would like to convey the message to all the young people that they should participate in this innovation process to find out the solution for their own problem.
Different innovators from different parts of Tanzania, they'll get an opportunity to meet with industry experts from different industries to help them to build and consolidate the ideas into actual businesses which can survive in the market.
There will be winners, but there are no losers, because you started something, because you are taking charge, and also because you have something that many others don't have.
Kikubwa ambacho kama vijana tunatakiwa mkiweke akilini kwamba ukiondoa ile $6,000, hii training is the most important kwenu. Naomba moto usizimishe, muendelee nao.
What a journey. It all began with one question. How can a person with disability access the right sexual reproductive health information and services? The Innovation Accelerator trekked across the country right after it was launched in Dodoma early April in 2019, meeting youth, innovators, and entrepreneurs, challenging them to create business solutions that will allow easy access to sexual reproductive health information and services to persons with disability.
We are very happy and glad to be here to launch the Innovation Accelerator for people living with disability. We also appreciate the presence of Honorable Deputy Minister, Ms. Stella Ikupa,
Mimi ninaomba niwapongeze sana sana kwa kulifikiria hasa hili kundi la watu wenye ulemavu, hasa ikizingatia kwamba changamoto zilizopo ni nyingi, na wao wenyewe uzuri yani tukio hili mmelifanya si kwa kujifungia ndani, ila mmeamua kuwa na wadau wenyewe ili kuweza kusikia kwamba wanapitia changamoto zipi.
After the successful completion of the first cohort of AMOA Accelerate, one of the key observations was the poor distribution of ideas from across the country. The second cohort, therefore, was objective of collecting more ideas from a larger geographical distribution. Dividing the country into 6 zones, the team was able to visit media houses, innovation spaces, organizations dealing with persons with disability, and conducting hackathons in these zones.
At the end of the day, we managed to get 360 ideas. We received these ideas, sent to the jury, and the judge selected 10 best ideas that can go to the next stage. And the next stage is bootcamp.
The 10 teams joined extensive trainings that were held in Dar es Salaam.
You have said this is company so-and-so, these are the shareholders, so you're saying that you sign these are the shareholders. After some time, Usaje wants to leave the company, right? Lakini kumbuka, Usaje owns 10 shares. Now you contribute to the capital of the company.
And after a stiff competition between the teams, 2 teams were required to drop off from the competition, leaving behind 8 teams that deemed to be the best suited for the demo day in Dodoma.
I'm excited with this innovation because having different ideas that will help or support people with disability to get out to access information that are so essential in their life. It is a great stage. It's a very significant area of development in our society.
For the AMOA 2 startups, to me, it seems like, yes, young people around with their ideas, they are also trying to see more of information, education, and services which are there for different population groups, particularly people with disabilities. That's possibly why they have chosen that challenge statement.
The teams proudly represented Dar es Salaam, Iringa, Arusha, Zanzibar, Singida, Dodoma, and Moshi.
Imagine you are a health service provider at RSH clinic, and then a patient with hearing impaired came. He only understands the sign language and you don't know sign language. How are you going to communicate with the patient? And we came with an idea through a computer software that we call it FriendlyCom. It's a system or a computer software that is installed at the computer and the camera. So when a person with hearing impairment comes to your office and stand in front of the camera, where the camera detects the gesture and send you the message, a system translates that gesture to a normal language. Then you hear and you understand the meaning.
AfyaTech is simply providing you a platform, offline mobile platform via USD code that people can access those for education through form. What you really need to do is very simple. Just press the codes, follow the instruction, and choose what kind of means of information you want to get, either by through SMS or informative calls or the direct call to the service provider.
The 8 best teams have gone through a one-on-one mentorship acceleration phase that has allowed them to refine their prototypes into most viable products. 4 out of the 8 teams will be provided with seed fund and further support to implement their ideas. AMOA Accelerator is a platform designed to tackle challenges. This UNFPA platform is implemented in partnership with Sahara Ventures through the support of UKAID.
This could not be possible without working with our existing partner, that's Sahara Ventures, whom they know how the ecosystem in the country is and how we could tap the potential ideas from different parts of this country. I think the success of this cycle has been through the collaborative efforts between the players in the existing ecosystem, as well as the innovators and UNFPA. And UNFPA is really providing a platform, and they want to make this platform an opportunity for young people to come up with innovative ideas that will address challenges around SRH.
So we have smart care.
The best four innovative solutions will shed a light in bridging the gap between sexual reproductive health information and services to persons with disability. The ideas are to incorporate the concept of innovation and profitability for sustainability.
Ladies and gentlemen, those two videos shared were, the first one was a summary of AMUA cohort 1, and the second one was a summary, a huge overview of AMUA 2. So it's almost 5 years now, Sahara Ventures, Sahara Sparks and UNFPA working together. Cohort 1 was on sexuality, the second cohort was on persons with disability, and now the third cohort is SRH on data. As Adam said, zooming into the fourth cohort that will be in Zanzibar. Thank you very much, Adam, for the brilliant presentation, and kudos to the great work that you're doing around innovation. Innovation, innovation, innovation. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the 2021 Sahara Sparks season. As we are speaking, we have in parallel other events that are already ongoing. Please remember to follow us on social media with the hashtag #FutureReimagined. Without further ado, we are now going into an interesting section of our event today. As the videos and the presentations previously, there are beneficiaries from AMUA Accelerator. I'd love to invite a very interesting gentleman representing the first cohort champions, Mr. Gwakisia from Gwamaka, right? From Harakati Zangeti. Please join me as we welcome him on the stage.
Wow, I'm inspired from the videos I just watched from the history. Good morning, everyone. All protocols observed. Yeah, so I'm really honored to be on this stage and getting your ears to hear what I have to share about the experience from the AMUA 1 winning experience, as well as coming up with an innovation that was really targeting to solve the issues around teenage pregnancy. So it just started with a little story. As everyone, I think most of y'all, we went through school, I was in university, I did some volunteer work, and that's where I got a network of other young people, very energetic people who wants to make an impact in the community. So we're volunteering in an organization in the university, it's called ISEC. And that's where I got to learn the whole concept of making a social impact. So after graduating in 2012, we were having this energy, like we need to continue doing the impact work in the community and yeah, impact more people. So we set up an NGO called TAI Tanzania, and we started doing business as usual, NGO work. When I say business as usual is the things that we always find NGO doing, like we go to schools, teach, raise awareness about sexual and reproductive health issues that are facing adolescents in schools. So after doing that for 2-3 years, we got to learn also we need to provide something for the girls when we started capitalizing in menstrual hygiene. So we started giving out pads. So after working with one school, we scaled to 2, we went to 5 schools. In the beginning, we needed like 100 pads, it grew to 2,000. And then we started thinking if it get to 100 schools, that means we need to fill this maybe whole room with pads to give to the girls. And then we keep on asking for money, grants, and then get pads and then distribute. That routine was not really sustainable. And we started thinking of a different way of doing that without even knowing the term innovation. we started working on a film because I'm a filmmaker and I'm really passionate about telling stories. So when we were doing that, that was 2017. And then really earlier on, I saw a call from MOA One. They were calling upon young people who wants to do something different for the community. And that was that time we get a bell ringing. It's like, oh, this is a new approach that we're trying to do now, using film, not just film that tells stories at the same time using technology. So that's why we submitted our application. As you see the pipeline, I saw the video now. I was younger then. It's 5 years back. I just got to realize time is flying. So after we applied, we went through that entire program. And I would say now I'm really, really grateful for a MOA Accelerator program, because it really took me from just knowing how to working with the community to a point like incorporating the innovative method, building a business, not just doing the unsustainable approach that we were doing before. So even right now, I'm really happy to see our mentors in the building. Really appreciate the effort that you put in, Sahara Ventures, together with UNFPA. We got the seed fund. By that time, the car which was really popular was Vitz, and the amount it was sold, it was close to the seed fund. So as young people, I was like, maybe, some people were saying, yo, you guys don't tap into that. It's just small money. Now you think you can buy a car and just start bowling in the streets and, living the young life. But really, we chose a smarter move. We started building a business now, not doing the charity business as usual. So we incorporated and built our initiative, which was called then Harakati za Lucy. And then it grew now, it's called Harakati za Ngeti, where we use 3D animation, which is a combination of storytelling and technology to make a positive change in the community. And by that, we produce films working with the community, as you know, like from the presentation of innovation and the way it works. So we go to the community, get the stories of how things are going, especially for adolescents, and the way they're having challenges in the community. And then we take that, script it, and then use the 3D animation technology to tell a story that's interesting and really it just engaging, and it's fun to watch. But at the same time, we give right information around SRH. So targeting teenage pregnancies, that's how it all started. So the 6,000 that you heard in the video, we did not buy that Toyota Vitz. We invested in the business. And later on, there was much challenges, but again, our innovation and our startup grew a little bit. And really appreciating, again, UNFPA came through, was like, so the product is ready, but there's a need to have capacity of the organization. So the capacity, this is when you have a business, but there's no systems, finance, how to manage finance, how to manage people, how to have compliance and procurement, etc. So we got a support again from UNFPA to grow our startup to get to a point that it can have capacity to work as a stable business. And from that point, also, we did not buy the Brevis as a business. We also invested in the business, and we really appreciate until now we can stand in front of the people and say now, Thai Tanzania and Thai generally as a studio, we are a business that we produce 3D animation films for social change. And that's our slogan, storytelling for social change. Thank you. So again, we kept on working, and then working with much more young people, meeting interesting partners. I see a lot of partners that we work together in our intervention. And then later on also, us to develop through other acceleration program. So we gained a couple of skills there, also meeting other young people who are really passionate for social change and using different innovative methods to do what we do. Later on, we needed to, we started with just one computer. Making animation is high technology. We use very powerful computers. We started with one, and then by that time we had a capacity development. We had 6. And then again, there was a scale-up fund opened through UNFPA again. We applied that, and again, we're really grateful that we won the grant to scale our innovation. So up till now, we are working on that now. We're buying 5 new workstation computers to produce more content for social change. Again, and then we're producing animation, more animation to impact specifically the area in Shinyanga, in Kahama. So just making more impact there around teenage pregnancy. So that's been a journey of us growing as AMUA beneficiaries. And until now, we're not just working with UNFPA and Sahara Ventures, but we work with other partners in the development sector, as well as people who are in business, because our concept, since it started as a prototype on AMUA 1, now is a proven approach and product that can work and make a positive change in the community. So this year we got recognized by one of our co-founders. So we are 2 in our organization as co-founders. One of my partner, he got recognized by YALI, the Mandela Washington Fellows, as the most impactful approach in Africa. So it started as an idea, and now we got recognized throughout Africa as an initiative. So all that, we really appreciate the effort, and I think myself, I'm inspired by the journey that we just went through, and I'm really looking forward to see AMUA Accelerator as an intervention that brings together more startups and bringing more impact in the community through innovation. I would like to share just a short video of the way we work and the way our approach works. And for more details of our films, we put them publicly on YouTube, because so far, through Just Online platform, we've reached over 3 million people with our stories, just on online platforms, and then 10,000 by going to schools and distribute our videos and making an impact with adolescents directly. So the video that you're going to see next is going to show you how the approach works and the stories that are there. And if you want to see the films themselves in details, they're on YouTube at Tai Tanzania, YouTube channel, Tai Tanzania. You find all the films there. Thank you so much.
Mwaka huu tumeweza kufikia mikoa mbalimbali. Katika mkoa wa Kigoma, wilaya ya Kasulu, tumeweza kufikia wanafunzi katika shule 15. Wameweza kuangalia animation yenye maudhui ya mimba za utotoni. Video hii inaitwa Zungumza. Hebu tusikie machache kutoka kwa wanafunzi ambao wameitazama video hii. Na hatukuishia hapo. Tulifika hadi Ngorongoro. Huku tulikutana na wanafunzi ambao walikuwa wana kiu sana ya kujifunza mambo mengi kuhusiana na afya ya uzazi. Video ambayo tuliipeleka huko inahusiana na ukatili wa kijinsia iitwayo Shujaa. Na haya ni maoni machache kutoka kwa wanafunzi.
Ufugaji. Watu wanakeketwa, wanafanyiwa vitendo vya ukatili. Nimetoka kuangalia animation ya Shujaa. Nilichopenda, nimempenda Ngeti, lakini zaidi nimempenda mama yake alivyokuwa anamtia moyo, anampenda jinsi anavyopigania haki ya wanawake. Ninachopenda kuwashauri katika jamii, mpende watoto wenu na kuwatia moyo waendelee kuwa na ujasiri huo ili waweze kupata haki yao.
Safari yetu haikuishia hapo. Pia tuliweza kufika Sengerema. Huko tulipeleka
Esa, are you replaying the video? That's it. Okay.
Storytelling for social change. Mwaka huu tumeweza kufikia mikoa mbalimbali. Katika mkoa wa Kigoma, animation hii ilikuwa na maudhui juu ya ugonjwa wa ukimwi.
Ni vizuri sana nyie kama wanafunzi mkae shauriane mambo ambayo yatawajenga kiafya na kielimu. Sawa?
Waswahili wanasema zege halilali. Tulifika hadi visiwa vya Pemba ambako huko tulipeleka animation inayoitwa Naweza. Naweza ni animation ambayo inahusiana na ndoa za utotoni.
Nimejifunza kuhusiana na mwigizaji ambaye kwa ni babake Timi. Babake Timi ameonyesha katika maigizo ni kuwa hana msimamo, au ni mtu ambaye kwa hajapata elimu na ndio maana tukaona amemhimiza mtoto wake aolewe ili anufaike binafsi, na wakati kumbe Timi angelisoma angenufaika yeye.
Mwaka 2017, 14.67% ya wanafunzi wa kike wa sekondari waliacha shule. Tanzania tumeweza kuwafikia wanafunzi 5784 katika mikoa hiyo minne ambayo tulienda. Ukiachana na video za chapa tatu, tumeweza kutengeneza mfumo mwingine wa radio drama ambayo tumeweza kufikia radio 4 katika mikoa minne. Na radio hizo ni Radio Kwizera, Radio Loliondo, Radio Sengerema na Jamii Radio mkoani Pemba.
Jamani, makofi tafadhali. That is Tanzania. Asante sana Gwamaka for the brilliant presentation. Ile grant ya nyingine hujatuambia ilikuwa shingapi sasa? Tusinunue vits jamani. Thank you very much. As we are moving ahead, that was one of the champions from the first cohort. Tunahama sasa kwenda kwenye second cohort, na leo tutakuwa tuna 2 representatives ambao waliweza kushinda seed fund. One is Friendlycom all the way from Iringa. Iringa jamani ni nyumbani Iringa. Woo! And then the other one is E-Afya from Dar es Salaam. So both of them tutawasikia, lakini tafadhali tuanze na Friendlycom. Karibu, na E-Afya utakuja straight after him. Podium. Fresh too.
Well, I'm Salum Mauga from Iringa. I'm Managing Director of Friendlycom. Please, can you play the video before, can you see the video and then we talk?
Tuarifu kuwa ufumbuzi wa kufundisha wanafunzi wenye ulemavu wa kusikia viziwi wanaosoma masomo ya sayansi katika shule ya sekondari ya wasichana ya Iringa umepatikana baada ya kuanzishwa mfumo wa kidijitali ambao unatumia lugha ya alama. Tupate taarifa zaidi.
Mfumo huo wa kidijitali ni wa kwanza kutumika kwa majaribio mkoani Iringa na umezinduliwa na Mwenge wa Uhuru shuleni hapo, ikiwa ni sehemu yake ya kukagua na kuzindua miradi ya maendeleo katika siku ya kwanza ya mbio zake mkoani Iringa. Huu ndio mfumo wenyewe wa kidijitali unavyofanya kazi. Mwalimu anafundisha kwa kuzungumza na kisha kutafsiriwa kwa lugha ya alama ya wasiosikia.
Hello students, today I'm going to teach you about biology. Utakapta sauti yangu, alafu utaendelea kutafsiri kile ambacho mimi nimeweza kuzungumza na wanafunzi wataona kupitia kwenye screen.
Salum Mauga ni mtaalamu wa tehama kutoka Manispaa ya Iringa.
Tumeutengeneza kwa kutumia teknolojia ya artificial intelligence. Yaani kompyuta unaipa utashi kama mwanadamu. Kwa hiyo tulichokifanya hapa, hii inatambua maneno, ikishatambua maneno inaweza kupeleka katika hiyo lugha ya alama.
Monica Profaki ni mwanafunzi wa kidato cha 5 anayechukua mchepuo wa masomo ya sayansi.
Mfano mwalimu anazungumza haraka kutumia baadaye mfumo huu.
Anasema kukosekana kwa walimu wa sayansi wenye ujuzi wa lugha ya alama kumwakatisha tamaa wanafunzi wengi kutimiza ndoto zao.
Uweze kutengeneza mfumo huu uweze kusambaa watu wote waweze kusoma hasa kisiwi, waweze kusoma vizuri.
Kiongozi wa mbio za Mwenge wa Uhuru Luteni Josephine Mwambashi amezishauri taasisi za elimu mkoani Iringa
Clinic Service Provider Toolkit. It's a software that facilitates communication at the family planning clinic that we installed at the Sahara dispensary in Iringa. This software facilitates communication between a health service provider and a client with hearing impairment. So from this, what we did, we developed this software from the seed fund that we got from UNFPA, and we installed it as a pilot, where before the installation of this software, there were only one client with hearing impairment who was attending the family planning clinic annually. Only one client annually. But after we installed this system, 35 clients attended the clinic in 2 weeks. You can imagine the difference. From one client annually to 35 clients in 2 weeks. And also, in family planning, one of the challenges that we found was the attendance of male attendance was very poor. It was probably 0% of men who with hearing impairment who attending the clinic, and that was because of the communication gap. So after we installed this, we saw 15 male clients attended family planning clinic at the Sahara dispensary. And that gave us a very huge impact. So that impact led to the government through a municipal director. The municipal director approached us after seeing this software, how it actually works and the impact, approached us and asked us, you did it in health. What can we do in education? Why can't we develop a solution, an innovative approach where we can solve the problem also in education sector, like what you did in health sector? As you can see, that is, we were testing at the health facility, the family planning clinic. So with that approach, the government approached us and we won the attention. Then we told them, okay, our focus area is the reproduction, is SRH, sexual and reproductive health. And you want us to develop the system for education. Okay, where can we find the point where our interest meets? Then we decided, the government accepted to allocate 35 million for reproduction topic for Form 3 students with hearing impairment at Iringa Girls Secondary. And this was one of the projects that Mwenge wa Uhuru mwaka huu umezindua Iringa. Tulizoea kusikia for them to communicate. As you know, family planning services needs more elaboration, needs more explanation, needs more communication. So now you can play the video and I'll start showing them how it actually. Vaccine service. So if the client do that gesture, the system detects through camera, and then the service provider will understand through the words that is displayed here, And here the statement will be formed. So the service provider will respond with the right service. So with this system, we see the opportunity to make more impact, because right now with that seed funding, we did the very few family planning methods, but we need to expand the family planning method that the system can understand, that we can make a more impact and people will have to have more choices and more options. Okay, thank you.
Come on, guys. Makofi tafadhali. I was here having a chat with our next speaker, and he's saying, make sure you highlight that. Co-founder of eAfya Hub. Hands together for him tafadhali. Karibu Habib.
Habari za mchana. Kwa majina naitwa Habibu Mrisho. Ni CEO and founder wa eAfya. Okay, fine. Basically tukizungumzia eAfya ni moja kati ya platform ambayo imekuja kwa lengo la kuweza kuwasaidia ndugu zetu ambao ni visual impaired kuweza kupata chance ya kupata zile accessibility ya education kuhusiana na masuala ya sexual reproductive health or education. So tumeona kuna tatizo kubwa ambalo linakutana na ndugu zetu hasa wakifika ile time ya kuweza kupata hizi taarifa au kupata elimu kuhusiana na afya uzazi na jinsia. That's why mimi na timu yangu tukakaa chini na kuweza kuja na mradi ambao unakuwa ni rahisi kuweza kuutumia kwa upande wao. So ukitazama umradi jinsi ulivyo, tayari tushao develop, lakini kuna challenge kidogo inaweza kutokea kwenye upande wa server yetu ambao tunatumia kwa sasa, ambao tunatumia Amazon kwa ajili ya kuweza host hii platform yetu. Sasa timu yangu ya onboarded na masuala development naamini mpaka kufikia leo jioni itakuwa ni tayari kuweza kuweka sawa, kuweza kuipush iweze kwa live. Kwa hiyo iweze kwa rahisi kwa ndugu zetu ambao ni visual impaired kuweza kupata accessibility ya hii platform. Ukitazama hii platform ina sehemu kama 4. Sehemu ya kwanza ni upande wa afya tips. Tukizungumzia afya tips ni moja kati ya area ambayo inajaribu kutoa dondoo kuhusiana na masuala ya afya uzazi na jinsia, lakini pia na matatizo mengine kuhusiana na masuala ya afya. Lakini pia kuna part ya pili ambayo inaitwa iCast. So iCast is like a podcast ambayo inawapa uwanda mpana ndugu zetu ambao ni visual impaired kuweza kushare different stories with regard with what they went through to the community. So it's all about sharing the stories. Lakini pia yule mtu ambaye anakuwa katika upande mwingine kuweza kuhear zile stories na pia kuweza kufanya zile follow up. Kwa kifupi ni kuweza kuwalinda kwa namna nyingine pia. Lakini pia tuna sehemu ya shop. Ukitazama shop, it's all about supporting those who are having hospitals, nazungumzia eye hospitals, kuweza kuwapatia chance ya kuweza kusell labda let's say zile spectacles, lakini pia kuweza kusell zile frames pamoja na lens kwa njia rahisi zaidi. Lakini pia tuna sehemu ya doctor. Sasa hii ni kwa ajili ya kuweza kukata ile chance ambayo mara nyingi watu wanapataga shida sana, asasa ikifika ile time ya kuweza kutafuta namna kuweza kuonana na daktari. Mfano rahisi kutazama CBRT, ukisema labda mtafuta daktari wa macho inakuwa ni muda mrefu sana, unaweza kutumia hata siku 2 nzima mpaka ufike katika chance ya kuweza kuonana naye. So what we do, we just simply the process by creating the platform ambayo inajaribu kumjumuisha au kumleta pamoja huyu mtumiaji, lakini pia na hospitals kuweza kuhakikisha kwamba wana communicate na doctors, kufanya zile appointment, lakini pia kuweza kuongelea wakati gani sahihi wakaweza communicate na daktari wao, lakini pia kuweza kushare mambo ambayo wanayapitia kwa wakati huo. So hatukuweza kufanya pekee yetu haya bila kupitia msaada ambao tumepata kwa ndugu zetu UNFPA, lakini pia Sahara Ventures ambao tusupport kuanzia siku ya kwanza tunaanza kuwa na ideas, kwa sababu tunaamini kwamba idea unavyoanza nayo mara nyingi inakuwa ni just an idea, yani the thing that you have in your mind. So the issue is how can you transform the thing that you have in your mind into reality. So what Sahara Ventures does is all about taking us, given the strategies and roadmap, so as to do them, so as to make sure that we go to the right way and then to reach the victory that we wanted to reach. So what is training wakatugia hizo capacity building kuweza kuhakikisha kwamba tunaishape hii idea kwa namna ambavyo hata ukizungumza na mtu mwingine na kwa rahisi kuweza kuelewa, lakini in case maybe you need to sell those things, it will be so easy. So we really appreciate Sahara Ventures for the support that they give us, lakini pia UNFPA kwa sababu sawa we have an ideas, issue inakuja kwamba namna gani tunaweza kufikia market. So it's all about money. So if you don't have money, it's just the thing that yani utakuwa unaiweka tu bila kuwa na sababu za msingi. So tunashukuru pia UNFPA kuweza kutoa support. Mpaka sasa tumeweza kutumia support katika kuweza kuhakikisha kwamba tu develop your platform, lakini pia kuweza kuwafikia watu kwa urahisi zaidi, kwa kuweza kuandaa zile seminars, na hivi ninavyozungumza mwezi ujao tunaweza tutafike katika moja kati ya region ambayo ni Morogoro region, kuweza kukutana na baadhi ya wanajamii wa maeneo hayo, kuweza kuwapatia awareness kuhusiana na masuala ya afya uzazi na ujinsia. So we really appreciate you guys for the support that you give us, na nawashukuru sana. Mwenyezi Mungu awabariki sana kwa sababu you did a great job, and natamani serikali iendelee kuwatazama kwa jicho lingine iweze kufika mbali zaidi. Nawashukuru sana kwa hilo.
Asante sana, asante sana. Ulikuwa unapanda na kushuka. You've owned the stage. Thank you very much. So this is eAfya, everyone. They are still implementing their concept. Wao ndo wamekuwa ni champions of the previous co-host. A hands please for them, tafadhali. How was that? Hao walikuwa ni 3 of the champions and the beneficiaries of Amua. Some of them due to reasons beyond their control hawajaweza kufika, but we are proud of them and we are rooting for them, na tunaamini watafanya vizuri na watafika mbali sana. We are proud of you. I'm proud of you. So without wasting any time, tumeeleza kidogo kwamba tayari we are implementing the 3rd cohort of Amua Accelerator, and it is mostly focused on bridging the data gap in SRH. So just to keep you again in the loop, I would love to ask a simple video. It will highlight on the few hackathons that we've already done within this project. Thank you.
Nimekuja ili niweze kushirikisha uzoefu wangu na utaalamu wangu katika masuala yanayohusiana na afya ya uzazi na ujinsia, na hususan katika hili swala ambalo hapa sasa hivi hawa vijana wanalijadili, linalohusika na matatizo ambayo yanaonekana kwenye sekta yetu ya afya, hususan data collection, processing and utilization. Kwa hiyo kuna innovations ambazo tunatarajia zitoke katika hii timu ya vijana tuliokutana nayo katika series of challenge statements, ikiwa ni pamoja na masuala mazima yanayohusiana na data collection pamoja na data consumption, na hususan pia kuempower local government authorities ili takwimu zinazohusiana na masuala ya afya uzazi na ujinsia ziweze kutumika ipasavyo katika programming pamoja na decision making on SRH, haswa tunapolenga vijana.
Nimeparticipate katika Amua 3 hackathon iliyokuwa imeandaliwa na Sahara Ventures. It is a platform inayo allow all the innovators to present their idea, na hackathon ya this time ilikuwa inajihusisha na data katika sexual reproductive health, na tulikuwa na team 7 ambazo zote zilikuwa zinaelezea integration, unification na data centralization. My team, we actually won, and my team is Afya Intelligence. Tulikuwa tunajitahidi ku leverage the system that is already there so that we can make the data accessible, available and easily to use.
Kuja kujifunza namna ya kuboresha ukusanyaji wa taarifa katika kuboresha huduma za afya. Na mimi ni mshindi katika hili tukio hapa, na natarajia kujifunza zaidi namna ya kuboresha teknolojia ili iweze kusaidia katika huduma za afya. Tunahitaji kuboresha huduma za afya na njia rahisi kupitia hili kutumia teknolojia ambayo inaendelea kukua kila siku.
Mimi kama kijana na washauri vijana wengine wenye innovative ideas ku join hackathons ambazo zinakuwa zinaandaliwa, kwa sababu inatupa opportunities ku present our ideas na kuweza kusolve all the challenges I have in our community.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So we are up for another bumpy ride. mpaka MUA 3 ifike mwisho. There's a lot of lessons, and you can continue to follow up on the pages of MUA 255 Instagram and Twitter for more updates, and our website. So we are still almost winding up with the agenda, but again, my brilliant audience, I'm reminding you to share your experience socially with the hashtag Future Reimagined. This is Sahara Sparks 2021, and this season, the theme is Future Reimagined. We're very happy that you're here with us today. I'd like to call on stage a list of panelists who will be discussing about adapting innovation for development. Some of the speakers are familiar faces, and some speakers are new on the stage. First and foremost, I'd love to call the moderator on stage, Mr. Adam Bialu, who will be moderating the stage. Tumemwona toka mapema kabisa akishare about the journey of MUA Accelerator. Thank you, Adam. We've also seen a familiar face, hasa kwenye video mbalimbali. She has been a mentor for different teams throughout, na yeye ni expert when it comes to sexual reproductive health. Please, a huge round of applause for Madam Elizabeth Mapela. Karibu sana, Doctor. Next on the stage, again, another familiar face from the government representing COSTECH, Mr. Athmani Mgumia. Tunashukuru sana that you're here, and we are looking forward to hear your insights again. Karibu sana on stage. Tumsindikize guys na makofi. Yes. And finally, saving best for last. Madam Jacqueline from UNFPA, karibu sana. Thank you for gracing our stage this season.
Asante sana, karibu my dear panelist. Naomba kabla sijasema zaidi nitawapeni nafasi ya kujitambulisha. Wengine wamekusikieni kwa kifupi sana, lakini kabla sijasema hivyo, panel hii itajihusisha sana na kusikia maoni yenu, kwa sababu tunaamini nyinyi kwa namna moja ama nyingine pia mmekuwa mna experiences zenu. Kwa hiyo kama unadhani una swali, Isa ametusaidia kwenye teknolojia. Ukiangalia saizi hapo imeonyesha kwenye mtandao wa aina unavyoweza ukashiriki na sisi kama unataka kuuliza swali, unataka kuchangia. Kwa hiyo haitakuwa paneli yetu tu, pia tutataka kusikia kutoka kwako. Na kama una swali pia nitakuomba uliweke hapo ukipitia kwenye menti hiyo, halafu tutakuwa tunashiriki pamoja. Asanteni sana. Labda nianze kukaribisha my panelist from the far right left of my side. Madam, please, just a brief one from your end. Karibu. Just a brief kujitambulisha nadhani, lakini wewe unafahamika zaidi kwenye chumba hiki. Nilitaka kusikia kutoka kwako your expectation na specifically you go straight kabisa kwenye swali langu. UNFPA tupo kwenye room hii, in a way mmekuwa mkisupport the innovation, lakini pia nafahamu kwamba nyinyi ni miongoni mwa watu ambao mmeamua kushift from, kama ulivyosema pale, business as usual. What does it mean to you, and what does it mean to the organization at large?
Thank you. I've got my mic on. Naweza kusikia? Sawa sawa. Asante sana Adam, nashukuru sana. Alafu hii asante kwa program safi kabisa. Alafu congratulations, hongereni sana for all of you, and particularly the MUA winners as well. Lovely to see all of the presentations. I think, for UNFPA, I think innovation has been something that we have been working on for a number of years, and we've tried different approaches. And now it's as we move forward, we see the centrality of innovation in all that we do, not as I said not as an add-on. And I think in the context of the COVID-19 pandemic, I think it's really, really pushed us. And I think, you know, the UN more generally to look at, you know, the need to address, to be able to be, to embrace in a very, you know, as a centrality, innovation and digitalization. For us as UNFPA, it's now part and parcel of all that we do. So whether it's on our operations side, whether it's on in terms of our organization, how we're doing from our day-to-day running of our organization, looking at innovation to really be able to value for money, to be more efficient, to be more effective. And then more on the development side, it's really to ensure that we sustainability in terms of that we can reach, in terms of the results that we want to achieve, and more broadly support countries like Tanzania in the areas that we work on in the context of sexual and reproductive health and rights. So, you know, we're evolving and we're learning from the experiences in Tanzania and elsewhere to really inform us in terms of our programming and planning. We're not standing still. Hatusimama tu, tunaenda mbele, alafu tunambrace, tunaangalia, alafu tunalearn. As I said, the future reimagined. Somebody said, future ni sasa hivi. The future is now. And if we really want to move forward, then innovation is not, as I said, it's central. It's not an add-on. It's not a kama tunapenda kufanya, sio. It's kati ya program. Shukran.
Asante sana. Just a quick bonus one on that. Where I understand now the organization is going to its final of its programming or 5-year planning, and now you are on the process of reevaluation and looking forward to plan for the next 5 years. What do you think will be the key going forward after the learning that you have captured so far? And is there any hope that this is something you would wish to continue pushing it through?
Yeah, no, I think we certainly want to push forward. I think for us and I think as discussed here, is the scalability of those that we have supported is scaling, not just doing it for muda mfupi tu, doing it for the long term. So I think this issue of scalability and sustainability is muhimu sana. It's very important for us moving forward. What we want to ensure as we develop UNFP sasa hivi tunatengeneza mpango mpya kwa miaka mitano mbele. Alafu sasa hivi tunaangalia nyuma, alafu tunaangalia mbele. Alafu kuhusu innovation, kama tunataka ku nest it, for want of a better word, we want to nest it in relation to the areas that we're working on. Kama hia, sexual and reproductive health, adolescents and young people, issues around data, and issues around gender and human rights. We want it to flow right through all that we do. And we want to, you know, we have given the seed money, of course, but we're learning from the accelerator. And that's informing us. We're looking more broadly beyond the accelerator, what's happening in Tanzania in the area of innovation, led by, you know, all organizations, including Sahara Venture, Sahara Venture, Sahara Sparks, and also across UN agencies. You have UNDP, you have UNCDF. We're looking at that because it's not just UNFPA, tunatengeneza mpango mpya, UN nzima Tanzania, tunatengeneza mpango mpya kwa miaka mitano mbele, tunaangalia kama vile.
Asante sana. Talking of collaborations, Mr. Mgumia, nafahamu COSTECH wao ndio kwa upande wa serikali ndio mandated entity kwenye masuala ya innovation na bila shaka na teknolojia ila kwa ujumla wake. Lakini pia nafahamu kwamba wiki hii yote tutakuwa tunazungumza future reimagined na the post pandemic. Tumeona vile ambavyo ilibidi tujipange upya jinsi ya kufanya delivery. Nyinyi mkiwa kama taasisi mnayotuongoza kwenye maeneo hayo kwa upande wa serikali, mnailichukuliaje hili jambo na nini ambapo mnadhani kitatusaidia kuhakikisha kwamba tuna embrace more innovation and technology in everything we do? What are the key issues that we feel as the government are planning, or how is the government is strategically aligning themselves to make sure that we embrace more innovation as these new norms is coming on?
Yeah, asante sana. Nakubaliana kama ulivyosema kwamba kweli Tume ya Sayansi ni taasisi ambayo imeweza kukasimia au mandate ya kuweza coordinate na promote innovation nchini, na ili uweze kutimiza majukumu yake Tume ya Sayansi ina vitu vikubwa vitatu ambavyo vinasaidiana kuweza kutimiza majukumu yake hayo. Kwanza ina bodi ambayo ndio yenye maamuzi ya mwisho katika taasisi, lakini inafanya kazi kutumia advisory committees. Kuna kamati za kitaaluma ambazo ziko katika kila sekta kuhakikisha kwamba kila sekta inapata nafasi ya kuweza contribute the challenges na kupata feedback kutoka taasisi. Lakini cha tatu ni kuwa na secretariat ambayo yenyewe ndio ina coordinate shughuli hizo tatu. Lakini pamoja na hilo, Tume ya Sayansi vile vile imepewa dhamana ya kuwa na mfuko wa kuweza kuendeleza sayansi na teknolojia nchini, Transnational Fund for Science Advancement, ambao mfuko huo unahusisha kusaidia kuhusu masuala ya utafiti, lakini vile vile kuhusu masuala ya kiubunifu. Lakini vile vile kwenye swala la ubunifu vile vile kuna inasaidia kuhusu miundombinu ndani ya taasisi, lakini vile vile kuweza kusupport, tunasema innovation support organization, ikiwa pamoja na kama hizi intermediaries kama ya hubs and incubators, kumake sure kwamba zinaweza kusaidia ubunifu katika ngazi zote. Lakini pamoja na hivyo, mwongozo vile umetengeneza na unaendelea kutengeneza miongozo mbalimbali ambayo itawezesha sasa kuweza kuonekana jinsi gani wabunifu wanaweza wakatambulika sehemu walipo, lakini wakaweza kusaidia kwa kutumia fursa zote zilizopo nchini ya taasisi. Kwa hiyo kuna miongozo imetengenezwa na mingine inaendelea kutengenezwa. Kama nilivyosema awali wakati wa opening kwamba changamoto kubwa iliyokuwepo ilikuwa ni kwa jinsi gani hizi actors mbalimbali tunapoongelea innovation systems, startup systems au entrepreneur systems, business innovation systems, ni systems ambazo zina operate kutumia mifumo tofauti kabisa. Kwa hiyo ili kuweza kushirikiana lazima kuwe na preconditions ziwepo ili iweze kufanya kazi. Kwa hiyo miongozo inajaribu ku highlight hizo what are the conditions, what are preconditions, kuhakikisha kwamba sisi kama startup inaweza kufanya kazi na source of knowledge kama R&Ds, hizi mjasiriamali anaweza kufanya kazi na vile vya utafiti, na ili matokeo ya utafiti yanaweza kuwafikia watumiaji startup ili waweze kumake sure kwamba product zao zinakuwa more competitive in the market. Kwa hiyo ndio mifumo ambayo tunajaribu kuangalia, na hiyo miongozo ndio inalenga kufikia pale. Lakini kama mlivyosikia kwamba tumesikia bunifu mpya zimekuja hapa ambazo zikaza more on the social technical systems, ambazo na zenyewe unapoongelea scaling up, you need now to transit from one technical system to another one. That with this now is another area ambayo we need now to work on it, to see how unapotaka upscale here. It's not easy to upscale this technology. Haiwezi kwenda kirahisi. You need to have a lot of change in infrastructure. So that's what I was talking in the morning kwamba sasa tunakwenda kwenye another paradigm ambayo sasa we are talking about the success of these technologies is very much depending on how and when are we going to do it, change from one social technical system to another one, so that you can support this new type of innovation. So I think this is now we are now pushed to think another challenges. And that's why I say in the morning that all these systems and the policy systems, they are working in parallel. They are all existing. So we need to make sure that all actors, all players are involved. We connect with them, but at the same time we are looking at the global changes in digital, the environmental, and all that kind of thing. So I think that is where we are now.
Asante sana. The next speaker, I have much honor on her, especially kwenye program yetu. Mimi huwa nasema she's a retired senior government official kwenye health sector, but not retired. na amekuwa aki provide massive insights kwa vijana wetu wanavyojaribu kujaribu kuinnovate kwenye sekta. Madam Mapela, umekuwa na sisi for the last 5 years now. I mean, umejifunza mengi naamini, lakini what has been your mentorship experience throughout this time?
Naomba hata kabla sijasema lolote on the experiences, niwapongeze UNFPA na pia ni extend my appreciation for engaging me into this innovation. Historically, kama hivyo mlivyoniona na hivyo wanavyosema, these 5 years is not the only 5 years I have been working for young people. I am the first government, I am now retired, but I am the first coordinator or pioneering person for adolescent health program in Tanzania. And this was worked out with support from UNFPA. So when UNFPA is now coming up with innovation, then I can recall what we went through, and I can also see how best we should also forge ahead when it comes to innovation. Because when we started the adolescent health program in the government, putting adolescent health in the government agenda was not an easy roadmap. And this is how I should also be able to exchange my experiences. Tulianza kwanza kwa kutambulika kwenye wizara husika, and possibly that's why you saw the challenge. One of the challenge of Sahara Sparks was engaging the government. So that was also what I experienced when we had to come up with the adolescent program with support from UNFPA, the AYA project. So what we did, we didn't despair. We had to forge ahead, continue to work with who were supporting us by then, and particularly the other sectors who were working for young people. Si mnajua kuna wizara ya mambo ya vijana. Sasa ile wizara ya vijana ile tuka engage nao sana kwa kujua kwamba there is no way you should forge ahead without having government backup. We are lucky now for innovation. We have COSTECH. So we have this ministry. And when we are not seeing the Minister of Health, when we are talking about SRH, that is an observation that I am making for you to continue working on this aspect. And at the end, we are going to realize what is expected. So being engaged for the 5 years in AMUA Sahara Sparks, I was looking at how we have been able to come up with the different policy guidelines, strategic documents, even standards on what should be happening when it comes to providing sexual reproductive health services, including gender-based violence, HIV prevention, and so forth. Then when I went into this modern way of looking at how business should happen, because before retirement, I used to work on the traditional means of coming up with proposals, the AYA proposal, and so forth and so forth. And UNFPA were supporting and the other partners. So to me, what I'm also interested to share with you is that service provision should not only be looked and only be seen as the work to be done with the service providers who are nurses, doctors. The way we define service providers, even in the policies and the guidelines, service providers for young people, it is all of us. We are service providers. So I'm looking at the challenge in the sector. When you read the policies, which are not all of them well translated into actions, the bottleneck on human resource shortage, I'm also seeing Sahara Sparks and the other players who are also working in the area of innovation to add up into looking at how we are also minimizing whom we are labeling as service providers in the health sector, for example. So we are increasing the critical mass for those people who can deliver. And it is the like Sahara Sparks. Because we need to have human resource who can transform, who can show results. And in the process that I have learned that they are using, we can end up complementing the government efforts. Another point I would like to share is the participation of young people. You know, in the national guidelines and so forth, standards, we have underscored the point of participation in the processes, implementation, even monitoring. But looking at what was presented and what I learned from this organization, that is meaningful participation of young people, because they are, the way he presented, they're engaged throughout the process in the definition of the problem, and also coming up with possible solutions for them, and not sitting in the offices the way we used to sit and come up with possible solutions like we need to have peer education, we need to have this and that. And at the end, we don't even minimize, or we don't have reduced rate of adolescent pregnancy or fertility. We are still struggling. So this is a modern way of looking at how meaningfully we can also engage young people for different aspects as we implement different SRH interventions. What I also learned, we might underscore, we might ignore the point of having mentorship, but it is critical, because when you go into the hackathons or into the boot camps, but starting with the hackathons, you'll find technocrats, they are engineers, in telecommunication, ICT experts, no one in a team who is in the health sector. But once you bring them into the understanding of what is SRH, once they are able to interact with you and ask as much as possible, and at the end, they understand and they can come up with the ideas and the solutions and what they have presented. So what I also like to call upon is to also look at the mentorship, how it should be well anchored or promoted into the innovation processes we want to scale up, so that we don't lose out so many good ideas coming out from service providers, whom now I'm calling beyond the traditional health sector service providers, to understand what is SRH, to also observe the policies and the laws and what they should be working on. Otherwise, I congratulate you, team or Sahara Sparks, for the wonderful work you are doing with support from UNFPA.
Asante sana, Mama. I wish to continue this conversation, but moderator is warning me of the time that has gone. I'll throw one opportunity from our audience, whoever wants to have a question to ask my panel, if there's any, before I go to the next line. Yes, my brother Joseph. Give it to Mike. Is there anybody else? I would like to hear the other side of us. If there's anybody else want to share or ask anything from our panel. Yes, I have got another one on that end. So I think they are complementing. Asante. Karibu kaka Joseph.
Asante. Kwa majina naitwa Joseph Migila. I'm working with the Tanzanian Federation for Disabled People Organization. Inaitwa Shivyawata, Shirikisho la Vyama vya Watu wenye Ulemavu Tanzania. My question is, nimeona address issues za data ukilinganisha na service ya sexual and reproductive health. Sasa kwenye aspect ya disability nilikuwa nataka kuuliza, mnadhani ni njia ipi inaweza kutusaidia kuona category ya disability inakuwa incorporated kwenye management information system ya afya hapa Tanzania? Kwa sababu naamini ikiwa incorporated inaweza kusupport na kujua magnitude ipi tunaweza kusolve au kuwasaidia inclusion ya watu wenye disability katika society ya Tanzania. Asante.
Asante sana. Swali kwa dada kule.
Mimi naitwa Wena Hillary. Swali langu nadhani liko specific kwa COSTECH kwa sababu wao ndio watu wa teknolojia na science. Wamewaza vipi au wamechukua hatua gani ku incorporate innovation au kulelea innovation ideas katika shule? Maana hapa tunadili na watu ambao wameshatoka shule, lakini sasa tunaweza vipi kulelea kwa wanafunzi kuanzia wakiwa wadogo bado shuleni? Swali langu ni hilo tu.
Asante sana. Nataka kuona namna gani tuna embrace innovation from our grassroots level kule za mashuleni kule kabisa. Swali la kwanza lile, Madam Mapela, umeshiriki mchakato, unaweza ukaona maoni kidogo na hofia kuwapa wengine ule mchakato wa data, unless kama kuna mtu anataka kureact.
Asante. Kama hivyo ilivyo cohort zilizopita, hii swala la SRH data ni kweli kabisa imeonekana ni challenge, kwa sababu you are doing a lot of good work and it is not yet reflected in the existing health management information system the way you clearly stated. And when we were with the young people, energetic, innovative, creative on this aspect, what I noted, they could specifically come up, and some of them won, see where they can have a niche and make a difference, because you cannot say that we are going to, you can improve everything at once. So one of the winner, for example, when it comes to looking at how the data is being shared for this essential SRH commodities, so that we don't have stockouts. Najua mnasikia mara nyingi kwamba hatuna hiki, while it is not supposed to be there, but it is because possibly of data, and there is also very good innovation around that. So my point here I want to share is, instead of pinpointing what is in the current HMIS, how is innovation on SRH data is going to show the system to make a difference? And this is in the pipeline. Very good ideas are now in the process of being worked out and to solve the problems in stages. Maybe can also add.
Asante sana. So kuongezea ni kwamba role ya AMUA platform yenyewe inaenda kuangalia bottleneck kwenye yale maeneo yenye ya sekta. Kwa hiyo tunachoenda kufanya ni kuangalia namna gani tunaweza tukaja kuziba yale mashimo ambayo kutoka kwenye existing systems, kwa sababu tunaamini kwamba ukisema saizi uanzishe mchakato wa kubadilisha system nzima inaweza ikawa kwazi. But what we are saying, how can we disruptive carefully navigate and support access of data kwa njia nyingine bila kuwa disrupt wao sana na mifumo yao? Ndio kazi ambayo tunajaribu kuiangalia. Kwa hiyo call yetu kwa vijana ilikuwa ni namna gani tunaweza tukasaidia existing infrastructure zile zilizopo, lakini bado bila kudisturb system zao, lakini bado provide hizo access to data kwenye mifumo. Lakini kwa kwenda mbele kwa moja kwa moja hatujapata innovative idea specifically inaenda kujibu PWD issues kwenye data. We wish we could, but ninaweza nikamuomba Madam Mahon kama nataka kuchangia, kwa sababu hawa ni wadau wa masuala ya ukusanyaji wa data, anaweza kutusaidia kama kuna mchakato wowote.
Hakuna matatizo. Asante Joseph. Thank you for your leadership as well. I just wanted to say that in the context of persons with disabilities, we have been working with the Serikali ya Mapinduzi Zanzibar on the Jumuishi database, and it is focused on persons with disability. And tunaangalia sasa hivi, under, of course, the leadership of the government, to see how we can further support in the rollout in the context of mainland Tanzania. So we're looking at that to now recognize it is kama gap kubwa sana, and we look ushari yako vile vile to support us, but we have this very good database, Jumuishi. It also has an app, Nakadalek, and also the ideas that are coming out of the Amora phase, kama Accelerator 3 as well, vile vile. Nashukuru.
Asante sana kusaidia kwenye hilo. Muda wetu umekwisha. Nitamani nitoe neno moja kama mna. So the future is now. What is our takeaways? Just quick one line. What is your takeaway kutoka kwenye discussion ya leo? Ukiwa una reflect kwenye theme yetu ya future reimagined. Just a quick line. Karibu dada, madam.
So hamna shida, the future is now. What I would say is, as young entrepreneurs, as young people, I really encourage you to push the boundaries, to think outside the box as you're doing, and really to push forward your ideas and to, leverage the space. You are the leaders of today. In terms of the demographics in Tanzania, almost in terms of the population numbers, young adolescents, young people under 24, it's all over 50%. So really to encourage you to keep pushing, to keep coming forward with ideas, to work together, to embrace in terms of your own ideas. That would be my takeaway today, that the space is there, move forward.
Thank you so much. The space is there, the future is now. Daktari Mgumia.
Asante, nafikiri nitumie nafasi hii kujibu swali la mjumbe pale aliuliza mpaka hajajibiwa. Naweza kuhusu jinsi gani kusaidia vijana na kuhusu kupata ubunifu. Sasa naweza nikajibu kwa sehemu mbili kwa sababu sasa hivi kumekuwa na hizo jitihada za kuanzisha majukwaa ya ubunifu katika ngazi zote kuanzia vyuo shuleni, vyuo vikuu na halmashauri na taasisi za elimu ya juu. Lengo lilikuwa ni kubwa, ni kuweza kuona jinsi gani vijana wanaweza kupata fursa za kuweza kuendeleza mawazo yao. Lakini daktari hapa ameemphasize kwamba swala la ubunifu linahitaji sana mentorship. Kwa hiyo unapokwenda kwenye level ya chini kabisa ya kufanya primary, uwezekano kupata mentorship ni ngumu. Kwa hiyo sasa hivi kinachofanyika ni tunajaribu kufanya ile mashindano ya ubunifu ambayo tulianza mashindano ya kitaifa ambayo ilikuwa inahusisha watoto wa primary school, lakini lengo ni kubuild innovative culture kwanza katika stage ya kwanza, afu baadaye sasa ndio wanaanza kuja kwenye kufanya innovation kabisa. Na tunatarajia kwamba huenda mwaka huu au mwaka kesho tukafanya sasa kwenye mashindano kwa ngazi ya wilaya. Kwa hii tunajaribu kubuild innovative culture kwa ile primary school level, lakini when you go to higher level kuna hizo kumbi za ubunifu ambazo zinatoa fursa za kupata mentors, kuweza kupata support kuendeleza maendeleo. Asante sana.
Asante sana Daktari Mapera, na samahani nikusahau.
Asante. Na mimi naomba kusema tu kwamba acceleration ya innovation in the public sector, and particularly for sexual reproductive health and all the other aspects in the health sector, is possible once we have good leadership, which we have through COSTECH and the other sectors. We have the energetic young people, majority of young people who have good ideas, and they can complement what needs to be done, not for anyone else, but for them. We solve young people's problems with them, and it is possible.
And thank you so much. We have come to our wind up of our panel, and thank you so much for your insights. I really appreciate. Again, thanks. It was so insightful. I take you back to you, and I may allow you now to go. Thank you so much. Kulikuwa kuna maswali yanaulizwa huku, tutaendelea kuyajibu, tuendelee kuengage kwenye social media, na nitaruhusu kama Jocelyn ataniongoza, otherwise asante sana. nafasi ya kufanya ile session ya Q&A. Very brief kwa sababu najua muda wetu umekwenda sana. Kama kuna any reaction, najua hapa tuna wadau wengi wameshiriki sehemu nyingi sana. Nitaka kusikia mawazo yenu. Especially kupata learning zenu kwenye masuala ya innovation. How is your organization innovating? Is there any tangible, practical learning we can hear from you? As far as your organization, what is an exciting learning we can take? I understand we chumba hiki tumeunganishwa na wadau mbalimbali. Nyie wenzetu huko mnafanyaje? Especially hapa waliojaa wengi ni wadau wa afya. Kuna jambo lolote ambalo tunaweza tukashare pamoja na watu wengine? Tamani kusikia kama kuna best practice unaoenda na mifano fulani, mifano ambayo mmekuwa mkifanyia kwenye programming zenu. Just a quick one, kusikia mifano kutoka kwa wadau wengine. Tumeongea sana sisi leo. Nini mnafanya nyinyi? Nini tunaweza tukakicapture as we are moving forward, as we are reimagining our future? Is there anything I can provide this mic to anybody ambaye amekuwa ameshiriki? Kama kuna exciting example natamani kuzisikia kutoka kwenye floor. Asante sana. Brother wa kwanza pale, kuna mifano yoyote ambayo tunaweza tukaicapture, tukasikia kutoka kwenu, mmesikia Amua inavyofanya, nyinyi kwenye organization yenu, nini unakifanya exciting tukicapture, tusikie na sisi tujifunze? Asante. Karibu kaka. Jina lako na nini unatoka organization gani na nini ambacho unaweza ukatushare wenzetu mmekuwa mkifanya?
Thank you so much. My name is Edward Onyango. We work as a journalist, digital data journalist, and I work with a communication consulting company. We do a lot of behavior change, especially in regard to health communication. And now there's a gap that exists between, I think it's something that we'll all realize, that there's a gap between head knowledge or data and the practice that you get in the field. And the disconnect does not emerge in the way, you know, we address it as if it's easy to do. For example, I could have a lot of information about finance, but my practice is totally irrelevant. I don't save, I have no, you know, it doesn't show that I've gone to Harvard and studied finance. Yeah, I retire a pauper. And so that is the same thing that we face between when we are dealing with issues like this. And I really appreciate the extent to which you've gone through and tried to develop this thing in a very deep way. And I would have gone through many other things, but I appreciate the way Tai is looking at it. Regionally, from the old time age, we realize that we act based on our own experiences, the stories that you can tell. If I can see the experience of my neighbor, it's easier for me to change and transform. And so I think maybe we need to tell, you know, invest more in storytelling. Tell these stories, the stories of success. Let's engage with them. Let's see the faces behind the data more so that we can link up the two. So I really think thinking through the thing rather than basing it more on technology. Technology is like an engine driving the back end. But if you could bring up the face, who are the people? How are these children looking like? How are the teenagers? What are their real experiences on the ground? Through stories that they can tell. I can see her story, I will identify. So we'll bridge that gap in a better way. I think that is something we need to probably dig in much more into.
Asante sana. Let us tell our story so that we share the learnings. Dada yangu Marcela, na kama unaona labda unapata tabu kushiriki, tafadhali tupitie kwenye mtandao pale tuachie maoni. I understand tumechelewa sana. Naomba very brief to share na wewe learning yako ya leo. Asante.
Thank you very much, Adam. Actually, hongera kwa all innovators. But my issue is on monitoring. How are we monitoring kwamba these innovations that transform community? And I think we need to come up with a model at all Sahara mtaiangalia hiyo as a way forward. Tuje na model ambayo itafanya monitoring kuangalia hizi innovation. How are they transforming or changing the community ambayo tunaiangalia? Thank you.
Asante sana. Just to keep up, kukusaidia pia na nakubaliana kabisa na point ulio raise ya kufanya monitoring, lakini pia kufanya impact study, kuangalia impact imefikia wapi. Ndio maana ukikuta kwenye document moja hapa sisi tumedocument impact ya AMUA 1 katika kuangalia what are the learnings and the practice on the ground. Yes, we need to expound more to understand the specific startup, ni namna gani zinaenda kuleta specific impact kwa community, na vile vinaweza vikatusaidia kwa ajili ya kuongeza more insights na learnings kwa vile ambavyo tunavifanya. Asanteni sana. I wish I could have more time. My moderator is catching my neck here, and thank you so much for listening to me.
Thank you very much, Adam. Thank you for also making me look very bad. Yamani, we are really out of time, and it has been a great pleasure to have you. Still, you can still continue putting in your insights. You've seen the work that Sahara and UNFPA is doing, and again, you could meet with Adam or Madam Felista after the event if you still have any more insights throughout. Remember, as we are winding up, to share your experience socially, this is going to be a song, to share your experience socially with the hashtag Future Reimagined. This is Sahara Sparks 2021. Finally, I would like to call on stage a gentleman from Sahara Ventures, who's also the CEO and founder, Mr. Jumanne Mtambalike, for the final closing remarks. Please, a huge round of applause for him.
I realize I'm very happy. Yeah. Good afternoon, guys. Why so serious? Yeah, so again, I'm very excited. I'm humbled and honored to be here. Thank you so much, our main host for the day, Jacqueline Mahon, country representative, UNFPA, Dr. Osman Mgumia, Tume ya Taifa ya Sayansi na Teknolojia, mama yetu Elizabeth Mapela, mwaka unakaribia wa 5 tunafanya kazi pamoja, karibu sana, nashukuru. Mlezi wetu Madam Felista, mkurugenzi mtendaji wa Sahara Consulting Bwana Adam Byaru. Thank you all for coming. I've been also told there are a couple of very reputed and respected people in the room. I know that we have CEOs of several startups. So again, thank you so much for coming today. We really appreciate the amazing work that you're doing. There are 2 ways of solving a problem. You can just solve a problem with incremental innovation, or you can solve a problem with disruptive, exponential innovation. And what innovators does, they come up with disruptive and exponential innovation. When you see in the beginning, it might not make sense at all. This is a story of Harakati Zarusi. When someone tells you that I'm going to create a character, a cartoon to transform how people think and perceive sexual reproductive health, if he's someone of my age, I'll ask him, what are you smoking? And then eventually we come to realize that the character is very strong. The character is becoming famous and can be transformed into almost anything and carry any message out there. And it engaged better at a very low effective cost compared to paying millions of money of airtime in a radio station. So that's what we call disruptive innovation. And these are the innovation that these guys are coming up with. Ideally is to change the way things work in a very different way. Is to address the issue of job as usual. Is to address the issue of we have been doing this for the past 30 years this way, even if it's not working. So again, I really like to work and engage with innovators. I've worked with Dr. Asmani Mgumia for 7 or 8 years now. I started my career at the Commission for Science and Technology. So this is a very exciting time to be here and also to see Dr. Mgumia part of this conversation. So I was raised at COSTECH. So it's very exciting and it's impressive, the work that they've been doing to support the ecosystem. Yesterday we had the Director General of COSTECH, Dr. Nungu officiating our day. And again, today we have Dr. Asmani Mgumia, so we should appreciate for that if we can clap. So I'm also working very close with COSTECH on Makisatu, mashindano ya kitaifa ya ubunifu wa sayansi na teknolojia. Niko najua nitakosea, nimefika mpaka mwisho. Sasa, so there are some innovators from Amua that also participated in Makisatu, by the way. Dr. Mgumia, Friendlycom is here, so I know they've participated. If we want to replicate and scale our impact exponentially, we cannot run away from collaborating and strategically engaging with the government. That's why it's very crucial to engage with the government with everything that we do, if we're really intentional about creating impact, especially at the grassroots level. Makisatu is a very interesting engagement because they don't just work with privileged urban innovators, but they work with grassroots innovators across the municipality, at the sub-national level, at the village level, extremely rural. Mwangika huko ndani Sengelema, they have applicants even from there. So it's a very interesting platform and I'm very honored to be part of that team. Getting back to today, a lot of interesting insights have been shared. It's unfortunate I was not able to attend the first part of the event. We were having another event today at the office with a network of universities talking about the digital skills and future of work for Tanzanian youth. So there were some academic papers being published and presented on what should we do to address challenges of unemployment in Tanzania. So happy to be here. I was given 2 responsibilities. One is to explain those documents that we've given you. And the second is to give my vote of thanks and appreciation for the day, and then officially wrapping this up. So one of the things we've been doing with UNFPA is to really try to capture the lesson we are learning together from implementing these programs. And from when we started in 2016, I still remember the pitch that Madam Felista and Robert pitched to me. So we are doing something called Innovation Accelerator. As UNFPA, we don't know exactly what is this or what is going to achieve, but we are looking to learn a lot from the process. I was like, so, okay, why are you doing something we don't understand? But I was fascinated because I also knew, okay, now I'm also talking to innovators, people who are ready to take risk and learn from the process. So I remember David came up with that model of agile monitoring and evaluation, which we adapted, which included conduction of like retrospective and studying after each phase of the project. And we have been adapting and using that approach throughout. So in terms of monitoring and evaluation, our approach has been agile monitoring and evaluation, which involves series of retrospective. You can say retrospective as like a meeting to provide each other feedback on what works and what doesn't work so that you can improve to the next phase. And that is what has been very exciting about this project, because Amua 1, Amua 2, Amua 3, and now we are moving into the one in Zanzibar. They are completely different programs. The ways they are conducted, they are not written in the Bible or Quran. They are conducted depending on the needs. Like the way we are doing Amua 3 right now, which involve aiming to address challenges in the data sector. We are not even conducting those call for application or things like that. We work directly with the government and the program owners, and then we are trying to come up with user or solution-centered approach by direct engaging with the users themselves to come up with these solutions. So it's a very interesting program. So one of the reports you have is a lesson learned from AMUA 2. Like, what did we learn? It's not a very detailed report because I also don't like to read. So it provides very specific insight, what we got from the process. And then the second report is mapping of the data, sexual reproductive health data ecosystem in Tanzania. That exercise was very powerful and it was very insightful. And we are looking to do more around that because understanding who are key players in the ecosystem is extremely important. Actually, we came to realize there's a lot of problem when it comes to sexual reproductive health data. A lot of data is being produced by different players, and most of the time they produce similar data. And they could have decided to have some sort of an open data portal for sexual reproductive health, where before you collect the data, you can already know this data exists, which means you're going to save a lot of resources and unnecessary misplacement of valuable investment that you're putting into collecting those data. But also from the discussion and the conversation with stakeholders, there were also issue of public funded data being not accessible, which doesn't make sense because initially they were funded so that they could be available for innovators, for data disruptors, for community, for anyone to use them to create any meaningful solution or intervention. But now you are told, okay, this data was funded by so and so and so, but it is we need to talk internally if we should give you this data or not. So we realize that is also another challenge. And then it was necessary to map out data regulators, people who are regulating the data financiers who are actually financing the data. What are the challenges that they're facing as finances? Well, then we map data innovators, like who are innovating around the data. What are the challenges they're having? What is their perspective? So at the end of the report, we even talked to actual users of the data to document some of the use cases. To be honest, the use case stories were very long, and then we didn't have enough time to write the whole report. We went to specific issues they raised. So again, the aim, as we say, is to make sure we all learn in the process because that's how innovation works. For those who are running startups, they already know it's a game of uncertainty. It's a business that's operating in a tested market with a proven business model with a potential to scale exponentially. So nothing is clear in the beginning. So if you came to me and say, okay, how will the next program look like? What are your KPIs and outcomes? This has been a fight with Madam Felista, like, hey, we cannot have very specific indicators because even ourselves, we don't know what will come out. We don't know if Friendlycom will come with a solution for PwC using artificial intelligence. How do we put indicators for that? So, but again, you have to understand the development sector language in order to be able to work. So again, I'm very humbled and honored to have this opportunity. So those are the two reports you have. Again, I would like to appreciate the support of the Ministry of Health in all the interventions that we've done through the HPU, the Health Promotion Unit. They've been actively engaged in our all interventions, directly and indirectly. Also, the Commission for Science and Technology Tanzania, Dr. Nungu participated in 2 of our events, providing keynotes virtually and physically. But also now we've been actively working with NBS, National Bureau of Statistics. They hosted us in Dodoma in a very peaceful, very lovely, objective meeting, and we're still working with them. So it has been very exciting, and we can see that ecosystem-centered approach on addressing most complex issues around sexual reproductive health that are facing our community and society today. That being said, I'm standing between you and your lunch, and that's the worst thing and the worst place to be. Thank you so much. Asanteni sana na mchana mwema. So officially, I'm supposed to say this event is declared closed.
Asante sana Jumanne. That is a wrap. Thank you again for being part of this event. Tafadhali karibuni lunch. Mtakutana na timu hapo nje guiding you to the restaurant. Thank you for being here today.